Hi everybody, welcome back. In this one, I wasn't even gonna make a video, but I had to. Honestly, it was very bad information, so I have to set this straight. But it's about it's this guy and I don't know the other guy in the 5 pillars, that YouTube channel, Alen Bašić, on Ottoman history, Islam in Balkan, and Bosnian Genocide. And I wasn't gonna make a video because I thought this guy, he got this on luck, but yeah, nah, he don't got this on luck. But let's see, and let's do reaction. Let's inform people correct so they know, and let's go.
Nowadays.
Now, in terms of the content that you produce and that you're known for or becoming known for, is generally Balkan Ottoman history, right? But before we get into that, your background is history, right? Any particular period or era or what's your area?
So I just finished my degree like this past summer in Islamic studies, but it was a focus on Ottoman history.
Sure.
So I focused on the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. So my research focused on the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, so from around 1800s to around 1920s, you know, when the Khilafah fell and whatnot, and the impacts of that. Specifically within that field, I focused mostly on the Balkans, just because that's kind of where the most that was where some of the most turmoil was. I'd say the most turmoil within the collapse of the Ottoman Empire was in the Balkans and the Caucasus.
Agreed.
So those two regions. So I obviously, my own interest,
Nah, that's not true.
my own heritage, my own background, focused on the Balkans.
Now tell us about it. So quickly, what is your heritage?
So my dad is from Bosnia.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. The front lines in Balkan, they were holding. But the Sultan, he was weak. But don't get me started. If the front lines down in the Arabian countries, if they didn't stab us, the Ottoman Empire, the front lines in Balkan and the fucking whole thing would look different. That's just fact. We fucking even sent people to Istanbul to protect it. We sent I don't know how many Bosnians. I don't know how many Bosnians were there and already. So no, that's not true. That's not true. No.
And my mother is Italian. But usually I just, being Muslim and whatnot, I identify more with being Bosnian. But I'm both at the same time, you know.
Just on the that Ottoman period that you just spoke about, a lot of the separatist movements were born in the Balkans, right? Armenians, Greeks, Serbs, Croats, many other.
How the fuck did he say Armenian? And Greece, yeah, but damn, Armenia is all the way over there, brother. It's the wrong place, brother. It's totally wrong.
The countries, Bulgarians, who else? Yeah, loads of the separatist movements that were kind of.
There was no separatist movements. There was church movements and political movements through the church and all of that. Imperial church, imperial church, I don't know what to call it, but it was pretty much just imperial church that got controlled by Russia, nothing else. And Istanbul, because the fucking Sultan allowed them to be in Istanbul, the fucking priest, spies that fucking communicated with, I gotta stop swearing. The same preachers that were in Constantine advising the Sultan were the same preachers speaking and telling the Russian preachers and the armies what to do. So,
whipping up during the time where nationalism was rife in Europe came from that region.
Yeah.
So, based on that, do you when you
No, it came from many regions. It was an infiltration scheme. Everybody knows it's an infiltration scheme. You had the infiltration through the church and trying to nationalize people through the church and fabricating false history and all of that. And then you had what else is that? Pan-Arabism. You have all kinds of different Pan-Turkism, all kinds of different influences that came from outside. So I don't know what this guy is talking about.
You look at the Balkans, do you feel that Bosnia and Sarajevo particularly had a special place in Ottoman history?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, what the fuck is this guy talking about? We were the Bosnians, the Albanians, the Greek. You can't say Greek because at that time there was no Greece. So Greece, everybody know Greece is a made-up country, 100, 150, 200 years old, fabricated history, all of that. Don't get me started. But yeah, the Balkan people had the most to say when it came to conquering and doing for the empire. Yeah, we took the whole fucking thing. After the Ottomans came to us, after that we took the whole Middle East, the whole fucking North Africa. But don't get me started, bro. We fucking defeated Napoleon, you fucking bitches. I gotta stop swearing, bro.
Definitely. I mean, Bosnia in general is what makes it unique. What makes the Balkans unique.
Listen, we gotta understand the framework of the old world. In the old world, most very valuable people, not most, but valuable people groups were people groups from the West Balkans. Because they were built different, they were strong, they were tall, they were already in the warrior mindset. They were not in the mindset of, I gotta serve somebody, you know. They were in the mindset of, if you come here, you're gonna crush your teeth, you know. So that's why they have much influence in the Roman times, when it was the Roman Empire. Then after, they had influence in the Byzantine times. They had, throughout every fucking empire, they got influence and became part of the elite. It is documented, it is historically documented. So the mentality is different, you know, because the thousands of years have constructed a special mentality, you know, because the area was not, how can you say it, systemized like other places.
Unique is that out of basically before the conquest of, you know, the Hijaz and Arab lands, the Ottoman Empire was a majority Christian empire.
Yeah, that's what. The clan structure was too strong for outside forces to break it throughout the whole history. It started breaking in the after the Balkan Wars. It started breaking the clan structures. But in the World War II was the kind of almost breaking point. World War II, after World War II. Kind of the breaking point, but still not, because the clans are still strong.
The majority of the inhabitants were Christians.
Yeah.
And the Balkans and Bosnia, when I speak about the Balkans, we should also mention in this...
Not because the World War II was hard for them, because the clans dominated West Balkan in World War II. But when the peacetime under the communism, that was where they could go into the clans and then delete people, get people to remove, get the clans out of the areas. Bro, don't get me started, bro. Bro, honestly, I don't know how people are not educated.
The same conversation, Bosnians and Albanians. They were the only populations which converted in mass, leading to a majority converted populations. You had other areas, like after Bosnia and Albania,
there was a lot of places where people converted. Nobody was Christian in Balkan. Everybody. You cannot show me any territory in Balkan that freely converted to Christianity. It doesn't exist. It is inexistable. Everybody who they call Christian in West Balkan or throughout the whole fucking Balkan is forcefully converted to Christianity. And it's starting happening. When was it starting to happen? I don't know. Was it the 8th, 9th, 10th century started forcefully converted people in the Balkans? A lot of pagan, a lot of different religions, a lot of... there was a lot of different religions, but there was forceful conversion throughout the whole of Europe. North Europe, the Scandinavians, the West Europe, the East Europe. This is documented. I don't gotta go into it so much because anybody who knows history can put this together in their head in 5 seconds. So, yeah.
Third place was the island of Crete.
Okay.
Greek island, so sure. Greek Muslims. But a lot of people don't know that there's Greek Muslims, so there is a lot. But what makes...
There's a lot of Muslims here. There was a lot of Muslims in Bulgaria. There was a lot of Muslims in Romania. There was a lot of Muslims in what they call Serbia today. A lot of Muslims in Croatia. A lot of what they call Croatia today. There was a lot of Muslims throughout the Balkans who got forcefully expelled or forcefully converted back. Not back because they were never Christian. They were forcefully converted to Christianity or needed to flee or got... You know what? That is the... Listen, we gotta understand, this is a systematic thing that has been going on throughout I don't know how many years, because this is an imperial structure that the church and the church kingdom structures have. You know, they control the people outside the territory. The easier way is to say it, the church becomes a sphere of influence for an outside empire. That's the most simple way to say it.
Bosniak.
And of course the Bosnians became Muslims because, of course, why wouldn't they? Their fucking belief already was one God. Boom. And there was no Catholic or Orthodox and all of that shit. So, bro, don't get me started, bro.
Arab lands. The Ottoman Empire was a majority Christian empire. The majority...
What did he say?
Many other countries, Bulgarians, who else? Yeah, loads of the separatist movements that were kind of whipping up during the time when nationalism was rife in Europe, came from that region.
Yeah.
So, based on that, do you, when you look at the Balkans, do you feel that Bosnia and Sarajevo particularly, had a special place in Ottoman history?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bosnia in general is what makes it unique. What makes the Balkans unique is that out of basically before the conquest of the Hijaz and Arab lands, the Ottoman Empire was a majority Christian empire. The majority of the inhabitants were Christians.
Yep.
And the Balkans and Bosnia. When I speak about the Balkans, we should also mention in the same conversation Bosnians and Albanians. They were the only populations which converted in mass, leading to a majority converted populations. You had other areas, like after Bosnia and Albania, the third place was the island of Crete.
Okay.
Greek island, so
sure.
Greek Muslims. But a lot of people don't know that there's Greek Muslims, so there is a lot. But what makes Bosnia unique is the fact that it's a converted people over the last 500 years.
What is he talking about, converted people over the last 500? Bosnians, I think it was 76 years, the majority throughout Bosnia people were Muslim. I don't know what this guy is talking about, 500 years, bro.
And then this also goes into the dilemma of what were they before, and then you have our surrounding neighbors, Serbs and Croats, who say, you've created a new identity.
There was no Serbs, there was no Croats at that time. They didn't exist.
And then there's all these. It's a lot of identity politics in the Balkans, and the lines of identity are very kind of blurred. So that's why there's been so many kind of issues, not just in the 90s, but for the last 200-300 years. It's very very much like identity is a big thing, religious identity, the blurred boundaries between you converted to Islam, what were you before, what were you now, and all these kind of. It's a very political matter at the same time.
So let me pick your brains on some of those discussions. The Bosniaks are Slavs. They're Slavic people, right?
No. No, that is a fabricated history that was pulled on the Bosnians after the Hungarians came and after the first Yugoslavia, second Yugoslavia. They were forced upon this mindset. You cannot even call yourself Bosnian under the first and second Yugoslavia. It didn't exist. They got the right to call themselves Bosnian in after the war, 96, 95, 96, 7, I think. After the Bosnian War. So that is not correct. There's no evidence for Slavic genetics. There's maybe a little, maybe 2, 3, 4%. But there's no major studies done. There's not even a study on 1,000 people. There's not even a real study. Everything they're fucking pointing to is fucking somebody who fucking made it. I don't know who fucking made it. Some studies, they say they have 500 people, but they cannot say who the fucking people are. When you make a study, you gotta find first who the fucking people you're gonna study on. Are you gonna study on the clans you know that were there? Or are you gonna study on people you know that fucking moved into the area fucking, I don't know, 200 years ago? So, the study, there's no fucking study. So you cannot even talk about genetics. If you gotta do genetics, you gotta do it personally. I've done genetics and I know I'm Illyrian, Bosnian, nothing fucking else. And 2% from fucking Central Europe, but in the East, you know, but that's 2%, not even 1.6%, bruh. It's not even fucking talkable. It's not even fucking amusing to fucking entertain, bro. It's not even fucking the time to entertain 1.6%, bro. It's so fucking dumb, bro. I don't even got. There's no fucking Slavic fucking shit. It all came from fabricated history they needed to make to fucking give the Serbs a feeling of identity and brotherhood with the fucking, I don't know, Russians. I don't know, fucking nobody fucking know where the word came from. The first time they say that it got documented was in the Byzantine times, that was used for fucking uncivilized people. That was just a broad term for uncivilized people. That is the first time it came up in the historian documents. So I don't know, bro. It's so stupid, bro.
In terms, ethnically, you're no different to Croats and Serbs.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are genetically different. Genetically different from a Serb, genetically different from a Croat. That's factual. That's not even negotiable.
Yes, for the most part. So there, I'll just clarify a little.
No, for the majority of the part. Majority of the real Bosnians who didn't go in and mix in the communist time, yeah, they are fucking genetically different.
So
and if they didn't get forcefully converted.
So when it comes to the Balkans, so you have Bosnian Croatians are mostly Slavs mixed with native.
No, Croatians are not Slavs. Croatians were brought by the Catholic Church. They forcefully expelled all the Bosnians who lived in Croatia. That happened back in fucking... The first time it was in the 7th century, where they expelled, I don't know, 100-something thousand Bosnians from that Dalmatia area, Croatian area, and afterwards they just keep on removing Bosnians. So this guy, either he don't know history. Honestly, the one thing, if you gotta speak about Bosnian history, you gotta go and read Mufti Zukorlić. Find Mufti Zukorlić, his book, read it, and you will be educated more than 99.999% people. I have not read it, but I have listened lectures. I have studied myself. I like history and all of that. But this guy, he don't know what he talk about. There's no Serbians and Croats, no mixing. What the fuck? We never mixed fucking with each other. They were fucking vla. They were vla in our eyes. Bruh.
Balkan population. So have you heard of the Illyrians?
Yes.
So Albanians, they're also, but they're our neighbors.
What are the Albanians?
No. Illyrium, the center, the heart of Illyrium is in Bosnia. I think one of the biggest, I can't say, but you got castles all over West Balkan, and the center is Bosnia, Sandžak. That was the biggest part. They had their own culture even before that, and don't get me started, bro.
Is ethnically.
They're not Slavs. So basically, they're native Balkan people before the Slav migration. So in the round.
So they're more indigenous than the Slavs to that region.
Yeah, because
No. Listen, the Slav thing, it isn't that big. It didn't come so many people. If they came, what the fuck are they gonna do? They ain't gonna fucking come and fucking take over a fucking stone castle, bruh. The fucking old world didn't work like that. If they came like fucking, they could work the field or something. Nothing fucking else. They didn't come and fucking conquer shit.
The 6th, 7th century, you had Slavs who migrated from modern-day Ukraine region down into southern Europe, the Balkans. So we're South Slavs. But before that, it was just native peoples like...
Yeah. And why did they migrate? They migrated because they were forced to convert to Christianity. Those people who came from Bulgaria, those people who were forced to convert to Christianity. So the reason why they migrated was because they didn't want to convert. So they were like, fuck, I gotta stop swearing, bro. They were like, hell nah, we're just gonna move out. And some of them came into West Balkan. Yeah, but it wasn't a takeover. It never was a takeover. I don't know where this myth came from. It was a takeover of Slavs, and it wasn't that many. Bro, how many do you think people... Do people think there came 2 million? 1 million? Bro, it's ancient times, bro. There wasn't so many people at that time, bro. People are fucking so retarded, bro.
Greeks, Illyrians. But in Bosnian areas of Croatia especially, it's a mix. The genetic admixture is mixed between native Illyrians and Slav.
No, there's no mix. You cannot show me one fucking real study done from a real scientific fucking study. It's all fucking made up fucking studies. I think one of the studies is from fucking 2013, and I look at the names and it doesn't make sense, bro. You can't make a study just randomly with retardedness. If you gotta make a study, you do a study. You find out which are the real old clans, which are the people who came after the 18th century, blah, 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 blah. Bruh, don't get me started, bruh. When you do a fucking scientific study, you do it the correct way. Not just making up shit. You know, you can't just pull people from the fucking street and say, I'm gonna... Bro, who the fuck are checking... Bro, don't get me started, bro. Listen, we got so many migrants in West Balkan, you cannot just make a genetic study. You gotta go into the clans, family clans. What the clans? We all know the clans in West Balkan. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. Genetically, there's no 25% Slavic blood, bro. That doesn't exist.
Sure. Whereas Serbs in certain areas are mostly Slavs. That's why, you know, they have much more kind of this affinity with Russia and that, the Orthodox kind of...
Yeah, because they were fucking brought. The Serbs, the reason why they have... because they were brought in the 18th century. In the start of the 18th century, through Austro-Hungary, they had the fucking little satellite settlements. They also had satellite settlements. Where was it? Moldova? Nah. Was it? Was it Ukraine? They have other settlements that the church and Russia made for them. But these guys don't know about history, bro. This guy, he know Wikipedia history. He don't know Bosnian history. He know Wikipedia history. Serbian is a construct of 9th century imperialism from Russia, nothing else. That people didn't exist. Nobody identified themselves as Serb.
Historic church and whatnot. But yeah, culturally we can say we speak Slavic language. You know, we're Muslim Slavs.
No, we don't. No. We are not Muslim Slavs. We have never been Muslim Slavs. What the fuck is this guy talking about, bro? Lele, brother. We are not Muslim Slavs. We are Illyrians. The Muslim Slav shit came from the occupation of... What's it called? Yugoslavia 1, Yugoslavia 2. You know, the Communist Party, and before that, the fucking kingdom. And the fucking fabricated history from Serbian settlements in Austro-Hungary in the 18th century. Bruh, these guys know nothing about history, bruh.
You can say that South Slavs.
And tell us a bit about the way in which.
And the only reason why a Bosnian right now, a Serb, what they call a Serb and what they call a Croat can communicate, the only fucking reason is because of the Yugoslavia empires. Before that, they could not communicate with each other like that. They could not. It's not correct. Because everybody spoke their own dialects. Like, if I speak like my grandfather, nobody fucking can, not even a Bosnian. If I speak like my grandfather, if I go to a Bosnian, he cannot understand me, bro. If I go to the parts that got, what's it called, infiltrated by communism, you know, they cannot understand me, bro. So the language changed. Like in the Austro-Hungarian times, the language changed. It went from Persian and from Persian Arabic, it went to, I don't know, Austro-Hungarian and different shit. And then it went to a construction of that language, what they call, now Bosnian, Croatian and Serbian, and now they say everybody can understand each other, but it is a creation from the Yugoslavian era, nothing fucking else. Before that, people spoke Persian and Arabic mixed, you know, and the language changed with the change of empires. Bruh, how the fuck do these people not study this shit? Bruh, how do people go to school and go out of school and not know how to analyze a society at one specific time? I don't know.
Which the Bosniaks embraced Islam, particularly that they were neither Catholic nor Orthodox.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting topic, and it's one that has been surrounded by...
Yes. The Catholics came in the 12th century, 13th century, by the Pope's blessing, and they got a frontier in Bosnia. Nothing fucking else. It isn't like they fucking took over and everybody is now fucking Catholic. Nah. But they got a little stronghold in one little area, maybe two. But before the 13th century, there were no existent. And the people, they brought people, you know, they got Catholics from other areas and brought them in, you know, because people are not going to convert to Catholicism, not without them putting a sword to their throat. But that's a different talk. But the Catholics were never there before the 13th century, and they only got a little strong fortified place where they had their own kind of people, and that was it, bro. Nothing fucking else, bro. And for the Orthodox, they first came in the later 18th century. Before that, people didn't identify like Orthodox. That shit got made in the 9th century, like Orthodoxy. Before that, there was no Orthodoxy centralized from Russia and all that. That didn't exist at that time. That happened and got controlled by the Austro-Hungarian areas of Serbs, Russian, you can call it what you want, mixed max of people for the Russian Empire who lived in the Austro-Hungarian parts and infiltrated throughout the empire. Like the empire infiltrated the empire through that way. It is historically documented.
God knows how many nationalist discussions who have tried to blur the lines of what's actually happened. So it's still, to this day, there's different theories, there's different debates, and it's still a very politicized matter. Today, you'll still see it here discussed in the news that, you know, Bosnians are not this, you'll each Serbs, this and that. But generally,
did the Bosniaks at least follow a type of Christianity that was closer to Islam?
I personally believe that was somewhat of a myth. So basically, you have this theory.
There was no centralized religion. People had their religion, but they believed in one God, and the way it was built, it was a clan structure. Of course, the Bosnians were in touch with Islam because throughout the Bosnian history, throughout the Roman history, Bosnian people were in the legions. Bosnian people were in different empire soldiers. Bruh, we gotta understand the world wasn't like, ooh, people were fucking organized even in that time. Everything was fucking systematic. Fucking people knew where every village were. Not everybody knew that, but fucking administrations. They fucking knew everything, bruh. A king fucking knew his kingdom. A fucking administration knew its fucking administrational fucking parts. Knew fucking how many people were born, how many fucking died, how it's going, how many fucking kilos of fucking what agriculture came in and taxes. Bruh, everything was fucking organized. So, what was my thought? Fuck, man.
Debates, and it's still a very politicized matter. Today, you'll still see it here discussed in the news. That
yeah.
I personally believe.
So of course the Bosnians were in touch already with also there was Muslim traders, there was Muslim, like, bruh, listen, we gotta understand the world was not, ooh, it's so big at that time even. In that time even the world was small. Fucking you sailed from the Spains to Middle East, then in North Africa you traveled, then you took the other route, and then the other route, and then you had somebody on foot, and bruh, it was a fucking big network of travelers, pilgrims, bruh, people were not isolated and not in touch with what happened in the world. And the Bosnians especially, they were in every empire, they had people in every empire that had soldiers. When you build a unit of soldiers, you fucking don't mix them in all languages. You put people together from fucking same areas, so they can fucking communicate in the battle, like any fucking where. So the Bosnians never believed in the fucking Holy Spirit and Jesus is God's son. They believed one God and that's it. And then they had whatever, they had also different kinds of people there who had different faiths. There were shamans, there were bogomils, there were Catholic, settlements at that time, I think, after the 13th century. Then you had, I don't know if the migrants from Spain started migrated also, the fleeing, I don't know, and Sicily, North Italians, because there was also Muslim areas. North Italia, I think it was Sicily, south of France, like there was all throughout Europe you had Muslim settlements. Like, so it wasn't something new to the Bosnians to see the Ottomans come. And even they knew the Ottomans were gonna come because they already had trade fucking networks together, bro. Listen, bro, people think the fucking old world were fucking barbaric savages and fucking everybody running around and not knowing what they were doing. Fucking people were sophisticated and intelligent also at that time.
If that was somewhat of a myth. So basically you have this theory called the Bogomil theory.
And traveled.
Okay.
That Bosnians were part of this Bogomil kind of church, when in reality, the research actually shows that Bosnians were part of something called the Bosnian Church, so they had their own independent church.
There was no Bosnian church.
Okay.
Which was more, I believe, more monotheistic in nature, because, you know, within different Christian sects you have unity.
Listen, let me explain it very easy, very clear. You cannot come from one clan to another clan and say, listen, you gotta believe like us. They will say to you, fuck you, we're gonna fuck your shit up. We're gonna fucking burn your shit down. You ain't gonna fucking tell us how to live. That's how it was. There was clans, and they lived how they wanted. And they believed how they wanted. That's so easy to understand. There was no Bosnian church. There was people who were probably Christian, and they believed their way. But there were so many religions, you cannot say everybody was this, or these labels were there, and this label was more dominated than this. Nah, the clans were in control, and whatever the clan said, that was the shit.
Christians, you have Trinitary Christians, you have certain Christians that don't believe in the Trinity and whatnot, so more monotheism. So we can't verify that, of course, but generally speaking, the Bosnians were part of the Bosnian Church. So they were kind of in this, they were on the frontier.
Who is these Bosnians? This label Bosnians. Bro, people were clans.
Basically between the Catholic Catholicism world and the Orthodox world. It's literally like where it's like a borderland basically for these two areas. So of course you have the Catholics who are calling them heretics and wanting to send crusades to convert them to Catholicism.
No, didn't want to send 2 crusades. What is this guy talking about? 1, 2? They sent 2 and got a fucking satellite fucking area, sphere of influence in the 13th century. What is this guy talking about?
And then on the other side, you have Serbs who are also trying to convert them. So they were kind of in this in-between.
Who Serbs? The Serbian layer first came in the 9th century, start of 9th century.
Stuck in the middle type of thing. And by the time the Ottomans came, so the conquest of Mehmed Fatih in the 15th century, by the time he came, the Bosnian church had already started to kind of...
First of all, that Serbian conversion story, I cannot find it. I have never heard of it. Because at that time the Byzantine Empire was so weak and has been weak for the last 100 or 150 years, it was not even able to fucking control its empires in West Balkan or even Balkan. Bruh, this guy, how did he study university? Bro, I've never go to university. I'm just a guy making money. And bro, I know fucking history, brother. Better, brother. What the fuck?
It was somewhat weak. Its leadership had collapsed over, different centuries of different conflicts and whatnot. So when the Ottomans came, they offered the Bosnian people basically a treaty of protection.
They offered the Bosnian people. Listen, bro, people already knew the fucking Ottomans. People already negotiated with them. People already sent people to fucking investigate, make trade relations, this, that, everything. Bro, it was a clan. You had one clan of us here, one clan of us there, bro. We were a big clan, bro. This guy, he's not in touch with his Bosnian history, bro.
You have this powerful nation coming in.
Even in the takeover of Constantinople, there were probably Bosnians on both sides. Bruh. Don't get me started, bruh. Bosnians were also noble men and fucking had money. They would travel to Istanbul, they would travel to Constantinople, they would travel to, before that was called Constantinople, they would travel to Rome, France. Bro, what the fuck, bro? Do these guys think Bosnia was some isolated fucking place nobody fucking knew of, nobody fucking knew how to get out of, nobody how knew...
Who's basically coming and offering you protection from persecution from Catholic...
Bosnia was once the center of fucking silver. Hellenistic art that is white comes from Bosnia. Bruh, these guys, bruh, they have not studied this.
The Crusades from the West, from the Croatian, from the Vatican coming there, and then the Orthodox world. So why Bosnians converted? People say it was for tax reasons or to climb social mobility ladders.
No, because there was pretty much their faith. There was pretty much their faith. They believed in one God. Islam believes in one God. They don't believe Jesus is God. They don't believe Jesus is God. What's the problem? That's pretty much Islam. What the fuck else do you want?
But in reality, it was more so this idea that they could be part of a larger power. They could belong to this greater empire, and avoid persecution. And then within that, of course, I think ultimately the guidance.
No, that was not it. Listen, we also gotta understand the Sultan already had Bosnian blood in him. By default, he had Bosnian blood in him. Bro, people don't understand the ancient world, or either they're not taking everything into consideration. Listen, sultans, kings, they got married with princesses. Princesses, they have a right to a fucking area. That area, 1 + 1. That means when an Ottoman sultan marries, as an example, a Byzantine princess, by default that princess got West Balkan blood. I don't need to say even Bosnian, I just say West Balkan blood. And she got territory, and her father got territories, and all of that shit, and her family lineage got territories, and that gives you automatic right, blah blah blah. Everybody know how this functions with bloodlines and kings and sultans, and so they already had that thing going, bro. It wasn't like, oh, surprise, we just showed up.
This is from Allah, and there's wisdom behind that we won't know why these specific people accepted Islam and the others around them didn't. So I think it's a very unique situation, which I don't think you find in a lot of the world.
Alhamdulillah for that, bro.
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Alhamdulillah
honestly,
for that, bro. And look, you know, in previous pre-modern times, I mean, heck, let's just even go back to the time of the Prophet ﷺ. People's reasons for embracing Islam were different.
Of course.
And it wasn't uncommon or unheard of that early Muslims, some tribes that came to Islam, they joined because it was popular, it was growing, they wanted to be part of this growing movement, expansion, ghanima, whatever it may be. And of course, a huge number embraced it because it was the truth, and they were convinced. Or that a chieftain or a tribal leader accepted Islam, and then the rest of their tribe accepted Islam. People accepted Islam for different reasons. Dawah went to people through the sword, through the pen, through trade routes and markets in different ways. Staying on that, what role did the Muslims of the Balkans, right? What role did they play in Ottoman state building?
Yeah, very good question.
And I want to ask you in three particular areas. Janissary, right? Tell us who they are. I know who they are. We've discussed it in previous episodes with Dr. Yaqub Ahmed and others. Who are the Janissaries? Where are they predominantly from the Balkans? Tell us a bit about them.
Yeah, so the Janissaries were basically an elite. What they call it is like a slave corps. So basically they were...
No, they were not a slave corps. They were servants of the... God? Was it God? Guard, servants of the guard, you know, a god, not a god, but God is sent, God, you know, it meant servant. They were called kult, K-U-L, kult. They were called kult. To be called a slave, you need a different word. You need something else. It's a different word. They were, bro. These guys, how the fuck did they study history, bro? They didn't even study how the people were registered in the original fucking papers.
Quote unquote enslaved people. Obviously, that's a politicized term when we speak about it now.
They were not enslaved. They were never enslaved. They were clan members' kids who got the exclusive right to go to Constantinople, study, eat, get clothing, fucking get education. And the noblemen and clan members, of course, gave their sons to that for that, because that was the normal thing to do. In London, in Britain, as an example, people would send their kids to the king in fucking London so that he could educate the kid. It wasn't like educate my kid, but like he got educated in war, military conquest, all of that fucking shit. Other administrational things. This was a normal thing. This propaganda about, oh, let's just be honest. How many fucking genocides were there in the first, second, and third generation? Not that many. It's, bro, don't get me started, bro. People not study shit. So, this narrative of the Ottomans, the Turkish taking people comes from where? It comes from the church. It came from a preacher, after that a bishop. Because what was happening for them? They were losing power. And these people who they forcefully converted, let's remember that, these people who got forcefully converted just 200 years ago, 100 years ago, I don't know how many years ago exact, because the conversion moved in different stages, different areas, different ways. And I've not 100% studied every movement of conversion in the Balkans, but it is very interesting to do, and it should be done. But I fucking think so much I forget where I came from, bro. Fuck it, bro.
But we can say that for the most part, they were basically, call it as like a slave corps. So basically they were
Yeah, slave. No, they were not registered as slaves. They were registered servants of the garrison, or something like that. They were never registered as servants, not servants, but slaves. That's not exact. That's not correct. If you go cool, that doesn't mean slave. Go study history, go study Ottoman documents, how people were registered.
Quote unquote enslaved people. Obviously, that's a politicized term when we speak about it now. But
it wasn't enslaved, and it wasn't fucking normies, kids who got the fucking education and all of that. That's why we see throughout the genocide history, it is princes. The two brothers are in the genocide corps. Only if they got other brothers that are not in the genocide corps. But brothers, you see princes, you see noblemen, you see clan persons that are part of clans, you see. It wasn't like fucking riding on a horse and fucking grabbing a kid and fucking putting him in a fucking, what's it called, the fucking thing they had, and then riding to Istanbul and fucking, yeah, you got a kid, man, and fucking make him a genocide. That's not how it worked, bro. How the fuck do people think they live, bro?
I can say that for the most part. They were basically elite force dedicated for the Sultan's army. So they were basically brought...
No, they were not the elite force. They were his special guard. They were his guard, personal guard. Personal.
In and raised as this elite kind of...
Because in that time, as anybody who has studied history would know, that the way kings and sultans raised armies, it was through noblemen. And the problem with noblemen, you never know where you had them, you never knew where you had their loyalty, you never knew where the troops' loyalty lay, you never, too many unknowns. So he went out, the first, not Ottoman, but his father, him, I don't remember exact, because bro, I got so much information. One of those two. But went out and made a private army, his standing army 24/7, his elite guard, his elite security stormtroops, pretty much. It wasn't like... How do people go to university and not get educated?
Soldiers at this force who was not, didn't really have kinship ties, or they were taken away from their families. They were raised in an imperial
protect
arena.
Sultan, protect the state.
Exactly. Soldiers at this force who was not, didn't really have kinship ties, or
Yes, they did have kinship ties. What? Of course they have kinship ties. People went home on vacation, their father came to visit, the family members came to visit. Listen, it wasn't... Listen, these people who were forced to work hard and live like slaves, those were people who were under the church because they were not freed yet from their bondage. These are the people who should be said for, not the elite's kids getting to Istanbul and fucking getting educated. What the fuck is going on, bro? The only reason people got this narrative is because fabricated history, nothing else. There's no fucking evidence for it. Show me the evidence that they took fucking some random kids out in some fucking field, man. They would not need them. They already broke their back. They got probably fucking genetic defects, don't know what bloodline they came from. You don't... Bro, they get started, bro. That's not how you fucking run a kingdom.
they were taken away from their families. They were raised in an imperial
protect
arena.
Sultan, protect the state.
They were not taken away. They were given. They were given so the kids could get educated. Because where would they else get educated? In France, in Paris? No. Why the fuck? Yeah, sure, he could maybe take one or two, but why the fuck would they bring fucking the whole Balkans? Where would those elite kids get educated? Listen, we gotta understand one thing. There is even documented whose kids they gathered. It was preachers' kids, nobles' kids, and the elites, because these kids in the Byzantine Empire, they also got educated in Byzantine, but there it was private study, so you had to pay for it after you paid taxes. But this way, with the taxes they paid, their kids got educated and went back and educated their fucking local people. So much fabricated history about West Balkan.
Exactly. So they were kind of the elite
And Ottomans.
force without any kinship ties, basically dedicated to the Ottoman state, and that's what I think what made them so effective in.
No. Yes and no. It depends. Dedicated, yes. Dedicated, no. If a sultan didn't listen, they were dedicated to the state.
In history, because they didn't, they came there for that sole purpose. They were raised from however young they were for this purpose. And what was the other one you asked? Devshirme.
No, but the Janissary, were they predominantly from the Balkans?
I think in the first few centuries, they were. As time went on, the Janissaries developed into something different. They developed less into this kind of combat force,
Again, he's mistaking. Okay, let's just hear what he's saying.
more into sort of a sedentary kind of. They developed different roles in society, and eventually, when they were abolished, they had so much power that they were, overthrowing sultans and whatnot. But
Okay, he's already totally. What he's talking about is the Turkish narrative that got made after the 20th century. That's not true. What he's talking about is not true. Of course, the Janissaries had a lot of power, but you gotta differentiate between Janissaries. You had Janissaries in the Balkans and West Balkan and throughout the Balkans who were Janissaries to the fucking core. They were generational Janissaries. It means when the father, he stepped off, the son, he took over. That was the Janissaries. And then you had some Janissaries in Istanbul who, I don't even know about them. They say there was some bad Janissaries in Istanbul. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because the only guys who got butthurt by the Janissaries was the sultans and kings around the world. In Europe, majority. So, the only people who got bad things about the Janissaries is the sultans and not all sultans, later sultans, and kings in Europe. But the ordinary people don't have a problem with Janissaries. There was never a problem. It's not true. It's just not true.
at the start, they were very much so kind of recruited from the Balkans for this purpose. As time went on, their role changed by second. We can say in the first few centuries that was their role.
No, that's not true. You can so much fabricated history, manipulation, and now people believe lies. No, you can just look from the first and second generation, and you can find Janissary bloodlines, like Isaac. What's its first name, last name? I don't remember. Isaac. Janissary, big Janissary. He went out, get a family afterwards. He had kids. He built buildings. He had a lot of things to do. These guys, I don't want to say first generation, second generation. These guys don't know what they're talking about Janissaries. Janissaries had families, had everything
for this purpose. As time went on, their role changed by second. We can say in the first few centuries that was their role.
No, that's not true.
Do you remember?
That's what people are misunderstanding. When you're a Janissary, it's like saying when you are in the U.S. Army, you cannot go out and make a family. But when you're done with your career, in the first and second generation and third, I think it was third also, it was like when you are in the army, you are in the army. When you're done with the army, you can get a different post. You can do all different kinds of things, because you get educated throughout the way. And who the fuck is gonna throw out a person? You know how fucking important persons are in that time, bro. They didn't fucking grow on trees, bro. You didn't have fucking food all over the place. That later came in the 20th century when they fabricated, what's it called? For agriculture, to fucking give it so it could grow, the chemical stuff. You know what I mean? Fertilizer, yeah. In the 20th century, they made fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, so they can grow a lot of food, and then there became a big population boom of humans. But before that, human life was valuable. So when you were done with the Janissary Corps, you moved on to a different job. But these guys don't understand that. They think the propaganda about Janissaries is true.
Sultan abolished them or wiped them out?
I believe it was, I should know this, I studied this.
Mejir. Was it not Mejir? It was Mejir, I think.
I remember taking a class on this, but I can't tell you
Sultan
exactly.
Mahmud II?
Yeah, that's one. Just check on that.
Sultan Mahmud II? Was it?
And it was in the early 19th century.
Yeah.
It's part of the reforms that he was introducing.
The reform.
Yeah, that's true. 18, 20 something, 21, 20 something.
Now, obviously, the Janissaries then takes you into another very controversial subject. And it's controversial for many reasons. It's controversial from a fiqh point of view.
Yeah.
It's controversial from the point of view that...
Let me tell everybody something. The only reason why Ottoman Empire fall is because the Sultan, he sold the Janissaries. That's the only reason. After the Janissaries got removed, goodbye Ottoman Empire.
The fact that this took place was then used in the genocide in Bosnia, and is still referred to in many Serb and Balkan nationalist, Christian nationalist groups, and that is Devshirme. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Devshirme was a system whereby lands that were conquered and fought, each Christian household would have to give one son, if they have more than one son, would then
what the fuck are they talking about?
Then be taken by the Ottoman state. It would be...
That's not true.
It was seen as blood money of some sort, that we had to fight you and lose men to take this land. You will give one son from your family if you have more than one son. And these are the guys that went on to become Janissaries. Is this correct?
Yeah, somewhat correct. But we have to be...
No, that is absolutely $1000% incorrect.
Be very careful in this discussion, because the whole idea of the Devshirme and whatnot is part...
The dervish system was for elite people, not for fucking ordinary fucking slaves that work the field for the fucking church or noblemen or whatever, because you didn't use those kids. Those kids, what do you use them for? Nothing. Some of them came also because of the nobleman. When he sent his kid, maybe he sent a couple of his friends with him, but he probably sent some relatives' kids with him, so he could get educated and all of that. And we see that throughout the history. It's princes friends, it's clan fucking people. No, they didn't just go out and take every kid after a battle. That's shut the fuck up.
Part of what we call in historiography mythologized history. So in the Balkans, you have historical myths that have been created in the last 200 years to serve nationalist agendas. And the Devshirme is one of those, which was taken and blown out of proportion to make this whole idea seem that, you know, the Ottomans were these kind of bloodthirsty, barbaric people. And, you know, we have to also make a disclaimer that as Muslims, when we talk about the Ottomans, we're not justifying them as Muslims saying that they were perfect. 100%. I get this a lot because I make content on them saying, oh, you love the Ottomans, but they did this Islamic... No.
Bro, what the fuck is this guy talking about? The Ottomans is us. If they're fucking spitting on the Ottomans, they're spitting on us. The fuck are this guy talking about?
But we're not saying that. We're looking at this from a historical perspective.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't justify certain things which we know go against the Sharia and whatnot. But yeah, the Devshirme is one of those things which has been blown out of proportion, unfortunately. It was not on as much of a large scale as people think. And at one point in history, it actually...
In the first generation, there were less than 1,000. In the second generation, I think it was less than 2,000-3,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a little more. But that's it. It isn't, a whole fucking lot. It is, listen, if you went out and grabbed all the kids in the fucking time, bro, you will have a fucking standing army of 100,000 Janissaries in fucking the first generation. But that was not what the Janissaries was for. And you cannot sustain an army that big. Bro, people don't know about the old times, bro.
Actually became a mode for poor peasant villagers to actually have their children go on to achieve something great, which they would have never had the opportunity to. For example, to climb the imperial ladders. You know, the Grand Vizier position was often filled by these...
The village children never get it because they would be taken from the noble people and their friends.
These converted Christian boys from the Balkans, from Bosnia, from Albania, and...
What converted? They were forcefully converted to Christianity. They don't even know what Christianity is in that time when they got forcefully converted. Rather than get them started, bro.
A lot of families would actually volunteer to send their children because it was an opportunity. And what's interesting is that a lot of these soldiers, a lot of these people who were collected from the Devshirme, they actually maintained ties with their Christian families. They didn't just, like, for example, there's one example of Mehmed Pasha Sokolovic. He's one of the great.
Sultan Suleiman's guy,
Exactly, yeah, one of the most famous Grand Viziers.
Yeah.
He was originally an Orthodox. We're not going to politicize it and say he was Serb or whatever. We'll just say he was Orthodox from Bosnia. And he came from a prominent family of Orthodox.
Bro, can this guy explain to me how he'd know he was Orthodox? I would like to know that.
People from that region, and he maintained kinship with his family, even helping them secure them high positions within the Orthodox.
And how is there even Orthodoxy at that time? The fucking Orthodoxy religion was not even developed like it is at this time, in that time.
Patriarchy. I believe some of his he helped his family members in Kosovo, for example, get high positions. He built lots of bridges. For example, one of the most famous bridges in Bosnia was built by him in his area, which
on Mostar?
No, that was a different one, the Sokolovic bridge. Okay. So basically, this was
where is that?
I believe it's in Visegrad. Okay. It's in eastern Bosnia.
Sokolovic is first generation or second generation genocide, and he had a fucking wife and kids. So how the fuck can they not get wife and kids? Bro, these guys don't know about.
Yeah, okay. And this is actually this bridge has been used for centuries by the Serbs as a massacre, a symbolic site of massacre for Muslims. So they take Muslims there and they kill them there because they say, "Oh, you."
The fuck is this guy talking about? I've studied so many myths, so many fucking conspiracies. I've never heard of this. Mostar. Wait.
They take Muslims there and they kill them there because they say, "Oh, a symbolic site of massacre for Muslims." So they take Muslims there and they kill them there because they say, "Oh."
Where is that?
I believe it's in Visegrad.
Okay.
It's in eastern Bosnia.
Okay.
And this is actually this bridge has been used for centuries by the Serbs as a massacre.
It's not true that it's been used for centuries. It's been used since World War One and a little before. Yeah, World War One, little maybe before, when they started migrating to Bosnia. Or not migrating, they fucking got paid by the Sultan to fucking ethnically cleanse and genocide Muslim areas. They got paid by the Sultan. And what was the mayor? They got brought by the Sultan. They were Vla. They were registered as Vla. All the Serbs and all of those Orthodox, they got brought by the Sultans. Okay? This is documented. Okay? And then the later layers came with the Balkan wars and all of that. Then they started moving more people in. But the Sultan, he fucking brought them. They were registered under Vla. And they got brought, and later they got brought more because of the revolt of the Bosnians not allowing the Sultan to give Vla self-governments and all of that. And that's a deeper thing, but yeah. What is this guy talking about Visegrad? From 200 years ago, there was no fucking Christians in Visegrad. Unless the fucking Sultan brought them. Who were registered as Vla. And the only reason why they were brought there was to fuck up the power's stronghold of Bosnia and Bosnian people. And that's fact, and that's just historical fact.
A symbolic site of massacre for Muslims. So they take Muslims there and they kill them there because they say, "Oh, you Muslims, you Turks, you converted, you betrayed us, and you tried to build these things around us." But they take them there specifically to kill them as a symbolic gesture because they know that it was built by this kind of Orthodox man who was converted to Islam, and in their eyes it's a whole politicized manner. But that bridge alone, which is over the Drina River, which splits Bosnia and Serbia, has seen some of the most fierce massacres over the last 100, 200 years, stories that it's difficult to even believe.
So the Devshirme, from my limited reading of it, was that it was justified. Look, bro, if something needs to be justified, there's a ruling for it somewhere.
Yeah,
people go fatwa shopping today.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've been fatwa shopping centuries years ago.
It isn't about justifying. The elites always sent their kids to the king so he could fucking make them to noble men. It isn't fucking a Hollywood movie. Them growing up on the farm and fucking shoveling shit all day and fucking commanding people around. That would be fucking foolish. The kid needs to be educated. It was nobleman. Preach. It is documented. You can go and search it. What the fuck?
Most definitely did that.
Yeah, so like the justification behind the royal fratricide was that Sultan Bayezid,
And it existed only for 2 generations. In the 3rd, it already started turning. Bro, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
his sons had a civil war that nearly destroyed the state.
Yeah.
His 3 sons went to a civil war. So they justified the whole royal fratricide by saying that.
And the only reason the fucking history even got fabricated is because the church starting losing power. That is the truth. So the church...
that the greater maslaha is the preservation of the state, preservation of the deen, and preservation of internal war. So actually, it's better to kill princes who will end up imploding the state with civil war and you know, a quench for power, than it is to just leave it. So that was the justification. The maslaha of preserving the state and the dawla and the devlet and all that is similar with the defshirme. From my limited reading, the religious justification was that it only applied to lands where we had to fight. It was lands where soldiers and men were lost. And it was, from my limited...
No. It was a normal thing that happened everywhere in the world. That noblemen expected. People expected this. This is a +8 treatment that you can send your kid. You don't have to pay. You don't have to find fucking people to bring to your fucking little shitty ass village with what fucking educator from a fucking big city at that time would go to some small fucking village in fucking nowhere, risk his life when he got fucking big walls and fucking having luxus and everybody is coming to him because he can teach people. Bruh, these guys don't know the fucking story about the world in that time.
Again, correct me if I'm wrong, if you've heard these arguments, it was seen as a type of compensation that we lost men.
It didn't happen. By the 3rd generation, everybody inside the Janissaries was Janissary kids. And nobody else. After that, it was so hard to become a Janissary, you couldn't become a Janissary. That's fact.
Fighting this, you would...
And the first 2 generations were noble people, clans people who wanted their kids to fucking get educated. Later, church layers used that and turned that into, they kidnapped because they lose power. And they needed something to build a history around.
We didn't have to fight. There were other options.
What? You cannot build a history to hate people if you tell them, bro, they were just so fucking awesome and nice. But I think we should revolt and make our own lives more miserable than it is. And when we have all this good shit, we're just gonna tear everything up and fuck everything up, bro. You ain't gonna fucking get people wild up with that reasoning. You're gonna go out and tell them fucking some retarded shit that they cannot fucking find out is real or not real, and now you got this shit. People still believe it.
Is that have you had these arguments?
I personally haven't. I think of course there is an element of that involved. I mean, you're taking people. There is obviously an element of that involved. I think anyone can kind of.
You're not taking people. It is not fucking how it worked.
Decipher that.
What the fuck you gonna do? You're gonna ride up to a kid, you're gonna inspect him from fucking like that, and, oh yeah, he's fucking good. And then when you fucking come to the castle, he's fucking filled with smallpox and fucking who knows what. But that's not fucking how the fucking old world
just
worked.
Come to that conclusion. So I think there was definitely some of that involved. But I think in general it was I think it proved to be a very successful recruit.
Nobody was forcefully taken, and people stood in fucking queues for fucking be able to get the chance to get their kid in to the Sultan's private army and get them educated and military learning, and don't get them started. The later church layers fucking made some fucking ridiculous fucking idea, and now fucking people are running with it, but it's 100% factually untrue. It is impossible. You're not just going on and fucking picking kids. Why the fuck do we see princess, other friends, and all of that shit in the fucking Janissaries then, brothers? We all know Noble people sent the people to the largest city or the empire's capital and got the people educated. And if they had not enough kids, they would send it to one empire and another empire and fucking get power through that and not an influence and fucking bruh. It's a lie. It's a propagated and false history that kids was taken by force. It's fabricated, and it's so small. The true generation, it's such a small quantity of people, and the first boom came when they were allowed to put their own kids in the Muslim, and then it became only Muslim, and then people start crying, we want to join, we want to. Nah, bro, you ain't gonna join. It's a closed club.
Strategy, because the heights that some of these converts climbed in the States, the way they contributed to the state, I think it was ultimately something they did.
Contributed. They were the state. That's the thing that people don't understand. The early Ottoman Empire, people were the state. That's why it functioned. And then fucking after some time, fucking sultans started to hide in the castles and became bitches, bro.
Because it was successful for them. Whether we think it's right or wrong, it was a very successful kind of imperial strategy. But it wasn't as large scale, as mass as these later mythologized kind of narratives suggest.
So, was Muhammad Ali Pasha, the famous Albanian, was he from Difshirme?
I don't think so. No, he was obviously a lot later. So by this point in the 18th century, Albanians were already majority Muslim. So I think he came from a kind of a imperial Muslim family, an important family. So I think he just,
And what about Albanians embracing Islam?
What the fuck? He's also from a clan that has Janissaries. Bruh, this guy, you gotta understand, the Janissaries was a very, very important structure and everything. The West Balkans, the construction of West Balkan in that time is very good documented. Everything is written down.
And what do we know about them?
Yeah, Albanians embraced Islam actually a bit later than Bosnians, about a century or two later. I don't think that they were not majority Muslim until the 17th century, I believe. So for them, it took more gradual time. And Albanians, when we talk about Albanians, we're not just talking about Albania. We're talking about Albanian regions, which includes Kosovo, which includes Macedonia. And then areas of Montenegro as well.
Yep.
But the Albanians were different in the sense that they were much more of a tribal society. They were much more, especially if we're talking like northern Albanians, much more mountainous tribes. So it was more kind of like a tribal aspect behind their conversions to Islam. I don't think it was more of a
Bruh, this guy, do we think Bosnia is a fucking flat field or something?
societal shift as it was in Bosnia per se. But generally the reasons are pretty similar, even though we are, as people...
Exactly how the Albanians functioned, exactly the way Bosnians functioned, because the Bosnians and Albanians are pretty much fucking same fucking shit. Not same shit, but pretty much same mentality. The only fucking difference came after the Yugoslavian layers. After the Yugoslavian layers came, first Yugoslavia, second Yugoslavia, then there became some small differences and Bosnians became more soft. It depends on which Bosnians, because you have a lot of Bosnians still who are fucking strong like iron and even stronger. But you have some who got Yugoslavia-sized or communist-sized and then have a different layer to themselves. And yeah, that's just fact. So, no. Albanians and Bosnians are pretty much the same pies in the pea, whatever they fucking call it. Because the first difference came after the Ottoman Empire fall. Because then you had a government that controlled the Albanians, but you have a government that also controlled... In Bosnia, you have the Italians down in Albania. You had what's the Italians, and you had Austro-Hungarians in Bosnia. And by default, they're gonna get different layers. And then you have the Yugoslavia, and first Yugoslavia, second Yugoslavia, and then now you have different states, and there comes new layers. And now, bro, this guy needs to study.
People fairly different.
He gotta study how layers influence people. You know?
In terms of our language and our background, ultimately the reasons for conversion to Islam in the Balkans is pretty similar all around. And the
Not even Albanians speak how they speak now, bro. They speak Persian, Arabic, mixed with some different, but language changed in the West Balkans.
way it happened as well.
Just on a digress, I know you've produced video explainers on this subject. Tell us a bit about Ottoman Jews.
Yeah, this is a topic I'm very interested about.
What's the name of it? Start with D.
Why?
The Donme. The Donme.
Yeah.
That's a separate issue. That's a kind of a later issue, basically. Do you want to go? You want
Oh
to
no, we'll get to
Donme?
Donme. But tell us about Ottoman Jews, because these Jews came after the Inquisition, right?
Yes, exactly.
1492, they arrived in ships, were given safe passage,
Yep.
settled. Many of them were still there up until the creation of
Yeah.
Israel. Tell us a bit about Ottoman
Yeah, the Jews have a very, very strong history in the Ottoman Empire, especially in the Ottoman Balkans. In Greece, you have a city called, nowadays in Greece, it's called Thessaloniki. In Ottoman, it's called Selanik or Salonika, which was one of the largest Jewish populations in the world before Israel and whatnot. So the Jews have had a strong presence in the Ottoman Empire simply because they were protected, as we know how Ahlul Kitab were protected as Muslims. So they were given a unique position in society where they were protected rather than in Christian Europe.
They were not even giving a unique. They got built whole new districts only for them, so they could enjoy the life extra. So they got parts of a city or whatever, and then the Sultan, he built it for them. Or Sultan, I don't know. I think it was a mix. Also local people, and they built it up for them, and then they moved in. And then they were so comfortable, they moved out. They wanted to live around the normal people. Until some Zionists came and fucking threatened them all, and now they scared everybody. But that's another story.
Where they were being, going through all sorts of inquisitions, and yeah, they settled in different. They were settled by the kind of Ottoman internal policies in different areas of the Balkans. You had large communities in Bosnia, in Bulgaria, in all these regions, and these Jews spoke an old Spanish language. Still to this day, a lot they speak this Spanish language called Ladino, which is basically kind of this old form of Spanish which they brought with them from Spain. So it's a very unique kind of a position. And then they, of course, incorporated different Ottoman traditions. They lived alongside Muslims for the majority of their time. So they had a very unique position. I don't think there are these Jews, Sephardic Jews they're called, are very much of a smaller group compared to the Ashkenazi or the Ashkenazi Jews of Eastern Europe, and they're different to them.
So which Jews are we talking about here?
Sephardic Jews.
So
these are Sephardic Jews.
Middle Eastern countries. Spain.
Sephardic Jews, originally come from the Iberian Peninsula,
Okay.
and
So
then
Morocco
after that
also.
they also spread to Morocco and through the Middle East. So you have
Sure.
Sephardic Jews there,
Okay.
but I think the largest part of them stayed in the Ottoman Empire, kind of through
Sure.
the Balkans and whatnot. Yeah.
Did any of them manage to get positions within the state?
Yeah, of course. The Jews had, due to their kind of small community, they had strong ties with each other in different areas.
No.
So, a Jewish merchant from Thessaloniki can have strong ties with another Jew in areas of Indian Ocean or whatnot. So they had very good trade ties.
Yeah, that was normal. Like every normal citizen in the Ottoman Empire, you had freedom of movement. You could pick up and go to the Middle East. You could stay where you were. You could do whatever you want, bro. Nobody told you what to do. Like, it was an empire, a big empire. You had the freedom to do whatever, bro. If you wanted to pick up and move to North Africa, and if you wanted to move from North Africa to Balkan, nobody fucking told you couldn't do it. So, yeah, the Jews had freedom of movement. But they didn't when they moved in. If they wanted to trade inside of Europe, I don't know how that went. That was probably some different shit.
They were very good merchants. They also, I think, at one point, kind of the general position which was always held by a Jew was like the doctor of the Sultan. The physician of the Sultan was held by a Jew. So yeah, they also had the ability to climb to these positions.
Ah, very interesting. So he gave him a little heroina, and then the Sultan, he stayed in the castle his whole life, never went out. Probably.
They just like any others, they held important positions in the state. You didn't just have to be a Muslim. Yeah.
No.
Do you think that's
No. Listen, in some positions, but they could not join the army, and neither could the Christians until the later. Later they could, and we saw what happened when they joined the army. didn't go good. But yeah, they could hold many kind of different positions, but not military positions, and definitely not janissary. They were not allowed in janissary. Christians were not allowed. Only Muslim. Only Muslim.
Problematic.
I think it's different when we look at that topic now, talking about the context of what has happened since the establishment of Israel and what happened in the 19th century in terms of that process of how it was established versus back then. I think Jews back then were they were much more integrated with the societies they were around them. So the Muslims they lived alongside. I think that was definitely very different to the type of loyalties that they have nowadays. So I don't personally see it as something problematic or that should have been viewed with a cautious eye back then. I think they were pretty loyal to where they were.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Because right now I'm fucking making a document and fucking studying how some rabbis fucking had a finger in the fucking creation of Serbian nationalism and Croatian nationalism. Because I didn't understand how much. Because when I saw pictures, Netanyahu and Serbia fucking kissing and fucking being best fuck buddies, and I was like, it doesn't make sense. How deep does this go? It went deep. It went very deep. It's still working, but I think the biggest mistake in the Ottoman Empire that the Ottoman. No, they knew it, but the Sultan, he became too much influenced by others than his own. And that was the problem.
The community and around them, yeah.
And I asked for that exact same reason. So
and that's not Jewish. I'm not talking about Jewish. I'm talking about French. I'm talking about British. I'm talking about later America. I'm talking about, don't get me fucking started on the fucking whole fucking mill. I'm talking about fucking Spain, Portugal. Don't get me fucking started, The Sultans, in the end, after they abolished the what's it called, the genocide, all of them can suck dick. Especially up to Hamid, he can suck the biggest, and his father, especially his father and him.
In history, I've kind of concluded that they were perhaps the least subversive, the least separatist, the least confrontational, I've kind of concluded that they were perhaps the least, same reason.
I think they were pretty loyal to where they were in their community and around them, yeah.
And I asked for that exact same reason. So my reading of Ottoman history, I've kind of concluded that they were perhaps the least subversive, the least separatist, the least confrontational in terms of an internal problem.
Yeah.
You had that with...
Listen, we gotta understand why. Why was it like that? That was because at that time there was no Zionist project. So actually the best for the Jews was the Ottoman Empire. And it was the paradise for them. And... but when the Europeans started making what's it called, the things on the Jews back, not in the World War II, but back older, then the extremists from Russia, Ukraine, where was Sigmund Freud from? I don't remember. What's Sigmund Freud? The guy who made the book. And he didn't, because it was pretty much Christians who made it, but the front person, after he came, he used the Jewish network, and he took over the Jewish network, because let's be honest, the Jews are themselves infiltrated by others. So, it's complicated with the Jews, because in the start, no problem. Later, there was too much back deal rooms and too much, fucking bros. Play with open cards, bro. You can't say you're a neighbor and then fucking go out and fucking play with closed cards and doing all kinds of shit, bro. Let's be honest. The Jewish network can be used for good and it can be used for bad. And after the Zionist project started popping up, it started getting used for bad.
The Serbs, you had that with Armenians, you had that with Greeks, you had that with various different groups within the Ottoman state. Rarely did you hear about Jews within the Ottoman state planning a coup, or
Apart from one time,
which was
the Donme.
so yeah. So we get to so until we get to the Donme.
It's fucking Young Turks. The fucking whole project of Young Turks with their project. Oh my god, bro. Kemal Dolme, he's a fucking Jew. Sorry, I swear, but he was an infiltrator who fucking tried to fucking collapse that shit. And he had a lot of different others. So, and even before in the Bosnian Balkan wars, and even before in the Serbian wars, and before in the Russian war. Don't get me started, bro. This goes deep. Honestly, this shit goes deep, bro.
Up until that point, my reading has told me there's been little to no real attempt at subverting the Ottoman leadership, usurping power, trying to destroy
Funny shit.
it from within. But most certainly that was the case with much later nationalist separatist groups and movements. But tell me about the Donme.
Bruh, they stood behind the national groups and movements. That's, oh my god, this guy don't understand it. Bruh, this guy needs to read into what rabbis had power in what times, and then they will get a more clear picture.
Were a particular special type of Ottoman Jews.
Yeah, so I mean, they were of course Sephardic Jews. They were the Jews that came from Spain, mixed with some. You had some kind of native Greek Jews as well who lived in Ottoman. I believe they're called like Romanoid Jews or something like that. And one of their rabbis, who was born in Izmir, he was called Sabbatai Zevi. He started this movement in the 17th century where he claimed he was the Messiah. He claimed that he was the Messiah, and he successfully built a mass scale movement of Jews all across the empire. So he gathered so many people that at one point the Sultan was forced to kind of confront it. He had to do something. He had to put it down, because it was even going into gathering people from Christian backgrounds in the Ottoman Empire, from Muslim backgrounds. It was mainly a Jewish thing, but people were joining because they became so convinced that this man was the Messiah. And at one point he was brought before the Sultan because it was getting out of hand.
Which Sultan was it?
I believe it slipped my mind. I can't tell you exactly.
Okay.
But he was brought before one of the sultans, and he was given the choice of either we execute you and you're done with this, or you can convert to Islam and integrate and incorporate with our society. And ultimately he chose to convert to Islam. And then these followers of his believed that this was, and the way that Sabbatai Zevi rationalized this was that it was some sort of kind of divine guidance. There was a reason for them to have to now convert to Islam and become Muslims, or quote unquote Muslims, because they were just Muslims by name. They actually still ended up practicing this kind of these different Jewish beliefs that came from the I think it's called Kabbalah. Yeah, something like that. So it was more mystical Judaism. So they maintained these practices. They kind of, over time...
A bit more than mystical, bro.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, and over time, that kind of developed into its own sort of kind of underground religion, followers of his. So you'd have these people who were on the outside, had Muslim names, but internally they retained the kind of elements of their Jewish beliefs, and they practiced, and it became almost kind of like a secretive movement underground. It was very, very, very secretive.
Do they exist today?
Yes, they do, in much lesser numbers, because I think after Mustafa Kemal came into power, a lot of these people kind of just bought into Turkish nationalism and they abandoned beliefs. But they do still exist today. Okay. There are still followers of this kind of Sabbatian, this is called Sabbatianism, and this kind of named after Sabbatai Zevi. But it's very kind of shrouded in mystery, and even within Turkish society, there's lots of myths surrounding it, lots of conspiracy theories, claiming that different Turkish presidents are part of them, but I don't buy into those things personally. I just look at what the actual movement itself was very interesting.
Oh God, is this the group that they say that Kemal Atatürk's mom came from?
Yeah, they say this as well. This is I also believe, a conspiracy theory, because Mustafa Kemal was from the same city where their main...
Listen, when it comes to Turkey, that's a fucking shit show. Because we gotta understand one thing in Turkey. You don't fucking know where people came from. You don't know fucking where people came from after World War I, World War II, and fucking all the other wars. You don't know where the fucking family trees were. You made people change the last names, so it would be even more difficult to find out who the fucking people are. You don't know who you got in your... When it comes to Turkey, those guys do not know who they got inside their borders. That's how bad it is. Because this... Don't get me started, bro. They just fucking changed everybody's names and gave people names, and bro, you don't even know who is that bad.
movement was. I mentioned Salonika, Thessalonica. No, the movement started in Izmir, but they were based in Salonika.
Okay.
So Kemal was from there
And let me be honest.
as well.
Okay.
And a large part of those people in that city were converted Jews to Islam. So people say that there are some sort of connections. But personally, looking at the literature, I don't buy it. I think it's a conspiracy. Whenever you mention it, it gets you lots of views, lots of...
Why is it a conspiracy? Kemal was not Muslim. He hated Islam. He wanted nothing to do with it. He was a secularist. So what the fuck is this guy? Kemal, he was the worst, bro. He was the worst. He fucking took the honor for things he didn't even do. It was not. He fucking kidnapped kids, bro. Kidnapped people's kids, bro, and took them home with him. Let's talk about that. That's Kemal. That's Kemal, bro. The guy who took fucking people's kids, bro, and took them home. Can I say this on YouTube? Kemal, he took people's kids. He's a bad, bad guy. And that's 1,000,000% true.
People kind of, like to make conspiracies about Ataturk just because of...
And I'm not talking like, he took people's kids and then they went to war and blah. Nah. He took kids, bro. Kemal, he took people's kids.
The individual that
and it's documented.
He is. But yeah, I don't think that's...
And the sick thing is, in Turkey, they're proud. Like, these kids grew up. Nah, bro. He took people's kids, bro, and then did things to them and...
I don't think that's the case. But we never know.
But at the peak of this movement, was there any attempt to overthrow the Ottoman?
And those kids all had families. They had a mother, maybe the father was there, whatever, bro. But they had families, all of them. But he just took them. He liked them, he liked how they look, and he took the kids.
State. Why was
I believe at one point that was the intention, because it was such a powerful movement. It was threatening the actual power of the state, and they were moving around in different areas. So I believe that's why ultimately the Sultan had to resort to putting it down. I mean, it's only natural that you put down any rebellions of such a large nature.
Of course. From your reading and research, what special relationship did the Ottoman state have with the Muslims on the Indian subcontinent?
That's a good question. The Indian subcontinent is unique because it was never under direct Ottoman rule. But there was a lot of trading going on. There was a lot of merchants going back and forth. But what's interesting, I think, when we talk about Muslims from the Indian subcontinent is their support for the Ottoman Khilafah later on. The Khilafah movements that was born in India and whatnot. I think that's very interesting because these Muslims who were not necessarily part of the Ottoman state, they still had such a strong kind of loyalty to the figure of the Caliph. I think that's very, very, very interesting. The way that they supported him, the way that they gathered funds, the way they supported Sultan Abdul Hamid. Building the Hijaz Railway, you'd have large.
Yeah, because he fucking stole from everybody inside his empire. Fuck Sultan Hamid, fuck his mother.
Pots of donations sent from India at the time under British control, all the way to support and build. So I think it's very interesting when we look at the fact that they weren't ever really part of the Ottoman Empire, but towards.
Imagine they're fucking glorifying a person that is supposed to be a fucking leader. He cannot even go out and make money to his empire. He waits on people. He waits on his own people to financiate state projects, even though they're paying taxes and even though they are fucking giving their lives. And I fucking hate Abdul Hamid. I hate that guy, bro.
It was the end of the Ottoman Empire.
And even his father, I hate his father even more. I fucking hate his father.
They were very, very, very much loyal to that state, and it was actually a source of conflict with British colonial authorities. And having so many subjects who are loyal to an external state is problematic for the British colonial administration. So I think that's a very interesting aspect of crossover between Indian and Ottoman history.
Let me tell you a few other crossovers. So the Ottomans, of course, existed whilst the Mughals were around.
Yeah.
And along with the Safavids, they were the largest gunpowder empires of their time. But they were both Hanafis.
Yeah.
They were both Maturidis.
Yeah.
Came from a very tasawwuf type of tradition, Sufi tradition. And actually, many of the Mughal sultans acknowledged the Ottomans as the Khulafa. Humayun did, Jahangir did, Aurangzeb did, many of the Mughal sultans. In fact, in the Jum'ah, in Mughal India, after praising Allah and His Messenger and Ahl al-Bayt and the Khulafa ar-Rashidin.
Let's see if this guy knows about what the religions was in the empire. Right.
And so forth. There used to be homage that used to be paid to the Ottoman Sultan and the Ottoman Khalif.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a type of a cultural overlap as well, because the founding father of the Ottoman state, Babur, was ultimately a Turkic Persian.
He was Turkey. He was
Turkic Persian.
Yeah.
So there's also a heritage thing there as
definitely.
well. Bringing it back to the Devshirme, the embracing of Islam by the Bosniak people, and how much of that history was distorted, mythologized, propagandized, and then ultimately used as part of the propaganda to manufacture consent for a genocide.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about how...
No, that's not true. That's not true. Are we just ignoring the last 200 years and just focusing on the 90s or what? No. This is a project who's been going on from the 1820s. And the Sultan fully supported it because he didn't like the Bosnians. There's many reasons to it. The Bosnians putting all the wealth in their land and not giving it to the Sultan, and putting in the vakufs. There's all about not allowing the Sultan to do things they didn't like, and so this is not true. The Serbian law is 200 years old and came from Austro-Hungarian provinces. Was it Austro-Hungarian? Or was it called the Habsburg Empire at that time? Habsburg Kingdom. I think it was the Habsburgs, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they came there from Russian influence, and it made the Russian influence so severe. And that's pretty much it. So all of that, Turk or not Turk, that's why they're still saying Turk, because it's a 200-year-old thing, Belgrade is not fucking Serbian. They expelled all the people from Belgrade. The Bosnians, the Albanians, the Jew. I don't know about the Jews. I don't know. Probably not, because they had the collaboration at that time. But everybody else. And that happened all over the Balkans. So it's just a Russian imperial church scheme that got worked out, and people are still focusing on the 90s instead of focusing when it started, because when it started is more important for the whole thing, because if you're not going to the roots, you cannot fix now.
That period of history was then used by Serb and Croat nationalists to justify one of the most...
It's not history, it's fabricated history. The only people who says it is true preachers, and who the fuck cares about those preachers, because they're losing their power. Fuck them.
Horrific episodes in modern history of the genocide of the Bosniak Muslims in the 90s.
I mean, it's a big topic. It's actually the topic I wrote my dissertation on, is exactly this.
We've got time, bismillah.
But it started, I would say, around the turn of the 19th century is when these sorts of things picked up, where you had the spread of nationalism, and with the spread of nationalism came this kind of twisting of the past centuries of Ottoman rule, because of course these people we're talking here about, Serbs, Bulgarians, Greeks, wanted independence. So they twisted things in a way that
they didn't want independence because they didn't exist. It is a construction of Russia, Europe, and fucking other empires. How the fuck is it difficult to understand?
They began to see themselves as oppressed people under this kind of barbaric Islamic backwards regime, which is a common trope we hear about, in Orientalism and Islamophobic.
Who felt oppressed? Who felt oppressed? Who? The Catholics in Bosnia. They got brought by the Austro-Hungarians. 18th century, when was it? Late 18th century. They got brought by the Austro-Hungarians. Later, the fucking Serbians, blah, 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 into Bosnia. They were not native. None of them can show native. Maybe the Vlah, if some of the Vlah, they're not native, but they're probably the oldest Christians we have in Bosnia. Registered Vlahs from the Ottoman Empire. But all the rest, they are imported throughout the 1800s. 1900s. You always have to say one in front. So 1800s is 1900s. So yeah, 1900s.
Tropes about these, backwards Muslims who are oppressed by the sword. Yeah. So as they were seeking independence, they created these myths, especially because they were living side by side with Muslims who spoke the same languages as them.
No,
who
they were not. Oh my God, bro! They were not living side by side. The side by side thing never existed. You had Vla village over there. You had Muslim village over here. We had the Muslims owned the best real estate. Let's be honest. The Vla Christians, Vla who got turned into Catholics or Orthodox. Or the people who got brought in, but the people they call Christian, if there were any, there was a little, not that big part, but what was he saying?
Seeking independence, they created these myths, especially because they were living.
They didn't create the myth. The myth was created for them. It was created by the Church, Russia, the Habsburgs, I don't know about the British and English at that time. I gotta be honest. I think the British there in Arabia at that time, starting the colonies and taking over from the Portuguese. That's true. So there wasn't in Balkans so much. Yeah, that's how it is. Majority of these Serbs, so-called Serbs and Croats, got brought in from outside, bro. They are not native to that land. That is why they needed to expel all the Muslims so they could take their land and then administrate it out to those people who joined the army from the outside forces, who joined the armies for that expedition from the church, got the land. That's the fucking story.
Side by side with Muslims who spoke the same languages as them, who, were very similar to them, apart from their religious beliefs.
No,
so
we were not. No, we were not. We were not similar to them. Christian Vla story. When a Christian got too old to work the field, or the family felt he was a burden for them, they took his ass to the mountains or to the woods, and they, if you understand, not with gun, but with something else. That's their culture. They used to sleep with the animals in the house, inside. They pick here, them here, sleep side by side. Maybe a net between, I don't know. That's them. Because let's be honest, they worked for the church. Majority of those who call themselves Christian, they work for the church. They were organized by the church. What the church and the priests said, they would do that. Nothing fucking else. They would not breathe the wrong way if the church told them anything otherwise. So the church made them sleep with animals, and not like doing it, but having them in their houses. And if old people were burdened, they would get nicked. And when they needed to get moved to different, if they needed people for holy wars or wars against the Empire of Ottoman, then they would take some people from the areas of Balkan, the churches would, and then send them to the different meeting points, and then they would get trafficked into different fronts. Listen, nothing is just happening because it's happening. There is a reasoning to everything.
Had to rationalize a way to kick not only the Ottomans out, but these Muslims around them out, which was it was very much not like how it is today. We have Muslims in this area is Orthodox, this country is Orthodox. It wasn't like that. It was very much more mixed, right? So they had to rationalize a way to not only kick out the Ottomans, which they did ultimately through the Balkan Wars, but also to deal with the remnants of the Ottoman Empire, which were the Muslims, the regular civilians, the Albanians, the Bosniaks, the Bulgarian Muslims, the Greek Muslims.
What is he talking about? The Ottomans threw themselves out. The only reason why Muslims are still in Balkan is because the Bosnians fought them so hard they crushed their teeth. That's why. And then they didn't have time to go into Albania and finish the job. Because, let's be honest, they crushed their teeth in Bosnia. And all the surroundings about Bosnia, in Sanjak, in Bosnia, wherever, bro, they got crushed.
So they did this by branding them as traitors, as Turks, as something that was never part of the Balkans. They were treated as a foreign part of the occupying entity, essentially.
Because they
converted to Islam. Even though they were from there, they were the same people, essentially. So through this, they kind of,
Listen, we gotta understand this. This is a church doctrine. Either you convert, or you lose your head, or you move. This is a normal thing. This is historical facts, and it isn't specified only to the Bosnians. It is the Bulgarian Muslims. It is the Romanian Muslims. It is any kind of Muslim, bro. Any kind. It doesn't even have to be only Muslims. It could be Catholics. If you're Catholic, if they went into Catholic area, they would say to them, either you convert, you move, or probably they're not going to ask you. It's all about what mood they're in, but still, also the Catholics, they would do the same. They would do the same. Forceful conversion for either lose your head or move. You didn't have choices with them. There wasn't like, okay, we take this area and you do what you're doing, and we're just going to continue to the next area and take that, and you just pay some percentage or whatever, bro. It wasn't like that. With those Christians, it was different, bro. So, but it's not a surprising fucking thing. It's a normal, systematic thing they had in the church doctrine and the church construction system for that time, and still is going on now. But it is nothing surprising. Everything has a word, everything has a definition, everything has a truth.
Branded them as Turks, first and foremost. That's my dissertation was actually written on this concept of the betrayal of the Turks, the way that
that's a derogatory term, of course.
Yeah, it's used as a derogatory way because it's
Turk, Muslim, same thing.
Yeah, it's basically labeling as they're not from here. You're foreign. You need to get out.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. They basically ethnically cleansed the people. It wasn't, when we talk about war and genocide in the Balkans, it wasn't just the 1990s. The 1990s wasn't even the worst of it. This has been happening for over the last 200 years with larger periods of ethnic cleansing, with more deaths of Muslims.
How widespread was that?
It was very widespread. I mean, you had all these rebellions, you had the Balkan Wars. The Balkan Wars alone, it was catastrophic. I mean, you had like 500,000 Muslims migrating, hundreds of thousands who were killed. Not just, when we have the figure from the 1990s, we have a 1990s Bosnian War, we have a figure of 100,000 killed, which people say are not all Muslims, even though they pretty much were. But before that, you had periods where more Muslims were killed and expelled. So this is the result of this theory that they are foreign, they don't belong, and that they are part of the occupiers. And this was kind of branded through things like we talked about.
We gotta stop this shit. They're foreign. This is a normal church way of dealing with. They did the same thing in the Americas. They did the same thing in South America. The Russians did the same thing in Siberia against all those people. This is a normal church construction system, genocidal system. Can you say genocidal? Genocidal system that was made, and that is still operational. All this is documented. I am not saying anything false. This is documented, black on white, written down.
Of Shirme, where again this was taken by these nationalist writers and nationalist thinkers as an example of the backwards barbarity, and they blew it up into proportion. So it's a lot of these myths that were created, because really and truly, if we look at the rule in the Balkans, generally speaking, until the 19th century, it was peaceful. It was
harmonious.
Yeah, it was only with this rise of...
Listen, until we understand there wasn't that many Christians at that time in Balkan, we're not gonna go nowhere. Until we accept that the majority of Christians right now in Balkan all got imported, we're not gonna go nowhere. No fucking where, bruh. As long as we keep on this stupid ass narrative that there was Croatians and there was Serbians and blah blah, we're not gonna go nowhere. They didn't exist at that time. It was a made up label by different empires, nothing fucking else.
Nationalism and the separatist thinking of these Orthodox Christians, that things blew up.
Were emboldened by Russia at the time.
Exactly, they were supported by Russia.
And were obviously periodically weaponized by European powers to weaken.
Bro, they know they were fucking helped by... Why the fuck haven't you found out what settlements, where the settlements were, what the settlements were used for, what the settlement's operational task was around in the Habsburg and I didn't remember, was it Moldavia, Ukraine, don't remember. Different settlements put up to train and destabilize.
weaken the Ottomans.
Yeah, it was one of their tactics of dismantling the Ottoman state from within, heavily from Russia, especially because they were, of course, Orthodox Christians.
Separatist nationalist agendas.
So they kind of acted as kind of this like father figure for the Orthodox Christians. They actually portrayed themselves as the protectors.
Protector.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that caused a whole lot of issues because Russia itself has its own ambitions and with conflict with of course, their bordering empires in a way.
Tell us about some of the regions where these genocides took place, because I know both you and Harris have produced content.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the regions where these genocides of Ottoman Muslims happened.
Yeah, Harris, mashallah, he's focused on a lot on this region called the Sanjak region. He's gone there, he's travelled across it. It's amazing work because this is not a region that's known much by people who are not.
Why even go and try? Listen, just read Muftia Zukolic. Wow, bro, I talk too much. Muftia Zukolovic, his book, and he pretty much write everything to you there, bro. It's one book. It's already put together, bro. You don't gotta do so much work.
Who are not from the Balkans. If you're from the Balkans, you know it. But basically, Muslims are not just in Bosnia. They're not just in Albania. You have the bridge between, so you have Bosnia in one area, you have Albania in another area, and in between you have different countries. You have Serbia, Montenegro. But within that, you can't just think of it in terms of nationalist borders we have today, that Muslims just stop at this border, then it's Christian, and then it starts at this border again in Albania.
Borders were far more fluid. They were not even there, really.
Yeah, they weren't.
They weren't even there.
So
regions, or modern day regions, modern day countries.
Exactly, yeah. So with that being said, there's a large region called the Sanjak region where Muslims live, primarily Bosniak Muslims, which connects basically from Bosnia. It connects into Kosovo and into the Albanian land. So it was kind of the bridge, a cultural kind of blending of both Albanians and Bosniaks, which was historically part.
This guy don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Majority Sanjak, let's be honest. People were fleeing to Sanjak because it was an ethnic enclave, and there was with people from the parts that is called Serbia now, and Montenegro, and what is there else? I don't remember. Montenegro and Serbia. But those people who used to live in like cities like Belgrade, like Novi Sad, like Belgrade wasn't called Belgrade before. It had a different name, and Novi Sad had a different name. And all those cities who are now Serbian cities were not Serbian cities. It had majority Muslim. And in Montenegro, it was all Muslim, and they also genocided, and then moved people from Montenegro, they moved, and people from Bosnia, they moved, people from what they call Serbia, what they call Montenegro moved. So it was like, it became a super melting pot. Even though there was cities, it became a super melting pot for all the refugees. And it also was a bridge, but yeah, sure. If you can look at it like that, or you can look at it like in that part they didn't take over and didn't have any more fighting power against them because it's high mountains, and moving troops there, bro, you maybe gonna have 2 months out of a year where you can probably move troops, because wintertime, forget it. Summertime, forget it. Summertime is too hot, bro. Not enough water. The logistics, it would just be hell. Wintertime, logistics, forget hell, bro. It's another planet, especially at that time. So, yeah, that's why. It was pretty much the central point and the last part of the Ottoman Empire until the Ottoman Empire pretty much fall. Until the Sultan, he became a weak bitch, and fucking those young Turks, they sucked each other off like fucking batty boys, like they were. And what's this? Yeah, Sanjak. It's Sanjak. Sanjak is where you can see parts that belongs to Bosnia that should be part of Bosnia. Like Belgrade, it belongs to Bosnia. Like all the Croatian cities, it belongs to Bosnia. And yeah, we all know what's gonna happen. It's gonna come back. Of course it's gonna come back, all of it.
of Bosnia until the Berlin Congress in late 19th century. And until then, it was divided between
What Berlin Congress?
part of Bosnia until the Berlin Congress in late 19th century. And until then, it was divided between Serbia and Montenegro. So this region is fascinating because
Nothing is divided between those bitches. They can come and suck dick if they think something is divided. I don't see a Bora.
after it was part of the Ottoman Empire longer than Bosnia was, because Bosnia was lost to the Austro-Hungarians, of course, earlier on, end of the 19th century. But this region actually stayed part of the Ottoman Empire and was part of Montenegro and Serbia, which were very much not under Austro-Hungarian control, which Austro-Hungarians kind of managed internal strife a lot better. And they were essentially within these regions, which were now shifting to be Orthodox majority.
So give us some examples of...
What?
Austro-Hungarians kind of managed internal strife a lot better, and they were essentially within these regions, which were now shifting to be Orthodox majority.
So give us some examples of...
What is this fucking guy? What did he say? What the fuck did he say?
Austro-Hungarians kind of managed internal strife very much not under stayed part of the Ottoman Empire and was part of Montenegro and Serbia, which were very much not under Austro-Hungarian control, which Austro-Hungarians kind of...
What is he talking about, Serbia? Listen, Sanjak has never been a part of Serbia and Croatia. Till this day, Bosnia and Sanjak has its full autonomy, but international rules are not met. But until this day, nobody has ratified the document that Sanjak is its own and has its own authority over its land. And pretty much anybody can come there, and if they're trying to act, they're gonna find out what's gonna happen, bro. Forget about those labels. Serbia, Montenegro. Brother, when you're in the mountains, nobody help you, not even the passport.
Managed internal strife a lot better, and they were essentially within these regions, which were now shifting to be Orthodox majority.
So give us some examples of...
What the fuck? Which regions are shifting to be Orthodox?
Within these regions, which were now shifting to be Orthodox majority.
So give us some examples.
No fucking regions are shifting to Orthodoxy. People got genocided out of those places, and war criminals, they got going and got rewarded by the church and the different states for doing that job.
Examples of...
Even the Sultan, he rewarded them.
The type of rhetoric that was then used with regards to that Ottoman period, the conversion of the people of that region to Islam. What were the type of things that were said and shared and spread during the Bosnian War?
So what's interesting about the Bosnian War is that before that, you had a period of relative, what I would say, kind of superficial peace.
Coexistence of some sort.
No, that is not true. Okay, let me just watch a little and then talk.
Yeah,
So
Yugoslavia.
Under Tito?
Yeah, under Tito.
Fuck Tito's mother. I hope I find Tito's mother so I can dig her grave up and put her up in her grandson's ass. Listen, Tito fuck his son of a bitch mother. That guy, he hunted Muslims. He hunted them. Not even hunted, bro. He would fucking put police on your secret police on your fucking generations, bro. On your fucking generations, bro. This guy, peace. The only guys who says there was peace on the Yugoslavia, fucking Serboslavia, not Slavoslavia, but Serboslavia, Yugoslavia. But the only people who liked it was the communists, sellouts, and some Muslims, they chose to sell out. Allah didn't. Allah had to move, Allah had to change identities, all kinds of things, but this guy is not informed. Brother, the secret police went out and hunted people into the 80s, bro, 90s, bro, almost. Even in the 90s, bro. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Relative, bro, people fucking hunted from the houses after World War II. How many fucking fled to Turkey under fucking the communist rule?
Tito. So under Yugoslavia, you had this kind of unitary movement under the slogan Unity and Brotherhood. This was the slogan of Yugoslavia, that we are all...
Unity and brotherhood. Yeah, on the Muslims' back. Of course, unity and brotherhood. Just fuck the Muslims and then unity and brotherhood. What unity and brotherhood?
Yugoslavs. Doesn't matter of your religion. Doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian.
That's not true. First of all, you could not register as a Bosnian. You could register as a Muslim later in 72, 76. You can register as a Muslim. Not as a Bosnian, as a Muslim. And then blah, 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 blah. The first time Bosnians were able to call themselves Muslim, Bosnian was in 97. 6, 7, I don't remember. 90s.
Catholic or Orthodox, you're Yugoslav. Which was interesting because this is how our parents grew up. Our parents were born in my parents' generation, they were born in Yugoslavia. They grew up with this kind of unitary movement that there was no difference between a Muslim and
what unitary movement? You could not tell your children, hey, these guys are genocidal freaks. If you told them and your child slipped up and got hurt from his mouth, your child would be disappearing, you would be disappearing, your whole fucking family tree would disappear. What is it? Unity on the fucking Bosnian Muslims needing to shut up what is happening around them, and people disappearing First World War, Second World War, between the World War. But this guy don't know shit.
My father says he didn't even know that this person was a Serb until late 80s came around and people started to identify and say we're this, we're that. They didn't view that. So Yugoslavia was a piece of Yugoslavia was a.
Then your father was an ignorant person. Honestly, sorry to say, because my father, his grandfather told to my grandfather, he said to his son, he said to him, because my father, he was like, why don't we buy that piece of, because they were looking for real estate, because we had money. So they were looking for real estate and they were like, why don't we buy this piece of land? This piece of land is cheap and it's good. We can make good money on this. And my grandfather, he said to him, listen, you see who lives around? He looked around and looked who lived in this neighborhood. And he said to him, we're not buying here. Because people knew this. This guy don't know what he's talking about. No, listen, people's fucking diplomas disappeared. People went to fucking university for fucking, I don't know how many years. Suddenly they go home, finish the thing and go home. The diploma never came, bro. You don't know, the Bosnians and Muslims was so, bro, forget third class, brother, sixth class. But even, I don't know, Roma people, was it worse for them? I don't know, 50-50 maybe, more worse for them. But in general, this guy don't know what he's talking about, bro. Definitely, I have not studied nothing.
A period of relative stability where all of these tensions which had been brewing for the last 150 years were brushed under the rug. What
was the general religiosity of the Bosniak during that period?
It was very atheist. Religion was not encouraged at all.
No. Listen, there's a distinction between Bosnians. There was those Bosnians who assimilated and became this Serbo-Slavian mentality, communist mentality. Yes, 100% true. But there was the hardcore Bosnians who knew, oh, listen, this shit is not us. And the new things, like, bro, I have family, we know everything, bro. It's like West Balkan is the worst place to have a secret because everybody loves to drink coffee and fucking talk shit and fucking gossip all fucking day and do nothing. Like, that's the life, bro. That's the life, sitting and smoking cigarettes, doing nothing, having money, and just sitting and fucking smoking cigarettes and having fun. But everything is told, so everybody knows everything. And so the Bosnians, especially Bosnians from Sanjak, they didn't have the same mentality like Bosnians from mixed areas, if you understand me. So there were because there's levels between Bosnians, the conservative Bosnians, and then you have conservative Bosnians. Listen, because the clan structure got destroyed in Bosnia after the Austro-Hungarians. Many of the clan heads, they left. Listen, we have a saying in Bosnia. We have a saying. When the Austro-Hungarians came, the cheese, imagine you making cheese. When the Austro-Hungarians come, the cheese left, Then you had cheese and water and all of that, left, and cheese parts all over. When the first and second Yugoslavia came, then the cheese part went. Then you only had the water. You understand me? Yeah. That's how we say it. Like, you were left in Bosnia with the water. Cheese water. And then you had the people in Sanjak, very traditional, and many of them moved to Sarajevo and have family ties with other places in Bosnia where they got expelled from. So they were better to hold on to that mindset that, listen, this guy fucking expelled me yesterday. I ain't fucking gonna be friends with him. But then you had the other parts who were like, let's just forgive. And then you had the others that were like, fuck forgiving, bro. I know what the fuck those guys did. And there was a big clash between those mentalities, and it still is in Bosnia. A still big clash between the traditionals and the communist new mentality, because the traditionals are clans. They know the clans, they know the families, they know the 15 generational cousin, they know him.
Because Tito,
was suppressed.
Because Yugoslavia, or at least Tito's Yugoslavia, it was never formally part of the USSR.
No.
It kind of stayed within its orbit,
Yeah.
but it wanted to enjoy the best of the both worlds,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is capitalist West, capitalist Europe, but also staying in line with the...
That's not true, bro. He was a fucking spy for the British and the fucking American and the fucking Russian. That guy got dick from every side. That guy got a dick in his ass and fucking one in each hand. Tito, he was a fucking male prostitute. Can you say this on YouTube? Listen, Tito, he was a male prostitute, nothing fucking else. He gave ass to whoever had the money and whiskey. Not forget the whiskey. Don't forget the whiskey. If you had a whiskey, if you had a case or 10 of whiskeys, trust me, bro, you had them. That was it, bro. And let's be honest, it was the worst time for Muslims under Yugoslavia, and also under the first Yugoslavia, but especially under the second. Listen, people were fucking poor. We are talking poor, bro. People didn't have electricity, bro. We're talking not electricity. Some places it's in the 90s, bro. It's in the 90s, bro. That's what we're talking, bro. We're talking about no infrastructure. We are talking road networks, non-existent, bro. We are talking so underdeveloped, bro. So freaking underdeveloped, bro. It's a fucking joke, bro. Like, honestly, it's such a fucking... Bro, don't look at these major cities. The major cities, it was like the Hunter Games. As much as you could suck dick for the Communist Party, the better position you would get. And if you get your whole family involved so they can suck dick on the Communist Party, bro, you're gonna have it good. You're gonna be sucking dicks all day and fucking having an apartment in the city, and probably gonna get a car. But if you're a Muslim, you're gonna work the field, bro. You're gonna do nothing fucking else. You're gonna work the field like a donkey. And you're gonna probably, hopefully, if you're lucky, they're gonna send you abroad so you can be a fucking working migrant. What's it? Send abroad to work, bro, like a fucking slave. And this is 100%. people were sent like fucking slaves to other countries to work so they could make money because there was no money, and they were used like slaves. That's the fucking truth. The Bosnians they were used. Brotherhood, but why was it only the Muslims out digging all the time? They had working, you need to work, help the community and work for free, and then they send you all around. And bro, don't get me started, bro. Yugoslavia was the worst fucking piece of shit ass country. How many Muslims were just killed by the fucking police under Yugoslavia? How many families were fucking tortured? How many fucking families were poisoned? How many families were fucking just disappeared overnight? How many families needed to flee? Fuck Yugoslavia.
Cultural anti-West type of framing and positioning. They stayed close to the Soviets.
Did that very successfully, I'd say.
Yeah, they did it successfully. Yeah.
Yeah, they were part of something called the non-aligned movement.
The non-aligned movement,
which was, I think, I can't remember exactly. I think there was like South Africa.
South Africa was on that as well.
Yeah, basically kind of these alternatives.
Yugoslavia, yeah. Ones who didn't basically want to subscribe fully to the ideals of the Soviets, but kind of stayed within the kind of revolutionary socialist ideals.
Exactly. Yeah. So within Yugoslavia, of course, religion was not emphasized at all. It was very kind of socialist society where you were not encouraged to practice your faith. You weren't, even having overtly Muslim names was kind of frowned upon. Like my name, for example, is a name that's actually born from Yugoslavia. It's kind of it's used now in Bosnia. Bosnian Muslims have it, but it was kind of seen as a kind of toned down name, kind of more kind of Western, which was born from Yugoslavia. So
we gotta be honest. I didn't want to comment it, but we know who get the name Alen. Natural, when you need to be natural.
These things, these kind of remnants of how religion.
So what's the actual Muslim? What's the stronger Muslim version of your name?
It would be like Alem, like with the M.
Alem, yeah. Okay.
So they kind of just switch it out and make it less Muslim.
So it's like Alen, yeah.
Yeah. So that's and it's a popular name. It's stuck. It's one of the most popular, one of the most common names nowadays. But yeah, we have this period, relative peace, stability. Going back to that.
Yeah, we have a lot of communism. No good.
And then, but what we have to understand is the leadership of Yugoslavia was always made up of these figures who were leading these genocidal campaigns, who were leading these rebellions against Ottomans. That leadership carried.
Yeah, Tito, he employed 300,000 Chetniks and I don't know how many Ustashars. So how the fuck do we say it's great?
They ended up, so they were called the Chetniks, essentially. They were this group of Serbian Orthodox. Then they joined the partisans. The partisans were those who were in charge of Yugoslavia. So when the partisans won over the Chetniks...
No. The Chetniks were always in the partisans, and the partisans were always in the Chetniks. It was pretty much the same thing. They just fucking changed uniforms as it was needed. Because both fucking teams worked for the fucking same guys. Britain, America, Russia. Like, who did Tito work for? Britain, America, Russia. Who did the Chetniks work for? Britain, America, Russia. Like, plus they worked with the Germans. We also did. Great times. But, still, yeah. Employed Chetniks. Bruh, the Chetniks went out and fucking killed people all throughout fucking after the war. Don't fucking get him started. And fucking Tito's secret police, fuck his mother's, fuck his dead mother.
In World War II, they switched sides. So overnight, they switched from their fascist extremist ideology to this...
Honestly, I hate Tito.
Communist socialist group. So throughout the whole...
He's not even named Tito. He's named Josef Broz.
All of Yugoslavia, they were embedded.
So that never left.
It never left. It was always there. And it came out again. That was the problem. Starting from the 80s, it came out again. Slowly, you had this kind of shift towards emphasizing nationalist identity.
This guy do not know Yugoslavian history, or communist history, or the last 100 years of Bosnian history. It didn't just come out like the boogeyman. Ooh, boogeyman, it come out. No, bro. What the fuck are you talking? It never stopped. Never stopped. All throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 50s. People were fucking killed and fucking made to disappear.
Identity. This shift, it started really with Kosovo. The Battle of Kosovo is a very important...
They even have in Chicago, I don't know how many million of them, organized to fucking work from US state, America, and fuck. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started, bro. You had the fucking Croatians in Europe, and bro, don't get me started, bro. This guy don't know nothing, bro. The war never stopped, bro. The war never stopped, bro.
Event in Balkan history, which is seen as kind of when the Balkans really fell to the Ottomans, and when kind of Bosnian and Albanians betrayed Orthodox Christianity is seen as this, even though that's a whole...
Orthodox Christians suck. Bro, how much can I say on YouTube? Hey, Orthodox.
other topic. But yeah, they started to emphasize the nationalist elements more, and slowly...
Your grandfamily got converted by the sword.
Politicians who...
Orthodox and Catholics got nothing to say, bro. Nothing to say.
The Serb politicians who came to dominate Yugoslavia by the end after.
Honestly, fucking kmičari, people who fucking used to sleep with the fucking house animals, brother, in the house. Brother, you guys got nothing to say, brother, to us, brother.
Tito died. So basically, this is what happened after Tito died. After Tito died, you had the Serbs coming more into power, and it was more so shifting towards this nationalist agenda.
And different countries were breaking apart from the former Yugoslavia.
Yeah, and then came, that's essentially the climax of it, where it's become such a Serb-dominated entity that people no longer want to be part of it. And plus there was also a nationalist awakening within Croats or within Bosnians. They were reclaiming their identity. They were no longer seeing themselves as Yugoslavia. They had their own awakening, per se, like Islamic. They were starting to emphasize their Islamic identity more. They were going back to Islamic beliefs. There was more kind of influence coming in.
And this guy has not studied the 90s wars. First of all, the Serbians gave themselves the right 91 to do what the fuck ever they want. They all fucking, I don't know, a referendum. I don't even think it was a referendum. It's like the politicians. They were like, we're going to give ourselves the right to do whatever we want. Okay. And then they had the right to do. And then people got mad. And they didn't want to take that back. And thing escalated. And that's why.
From different regions.
Simple it down and be truthful. They gave themselves power that they didn't have right to give themselves by the union's constitution, whatever you want to call it. And then it escalated, and also they wanted Serboslavia, domination, blah, blah, blah. Sure.
So with this was where everything started.
But let's be honest, also the Croats, and plus they had the green light from Europe and America and Russia and the whole fucking world to do it and split Bosnia. So it was pretty much a done game, but the Bosnians, they fucked them good.
To fall apart. First you have Slovenia, which...
That's it, Slovenia.
Slovenia was the first country in 1991. They had like a 3-day war or something. Gone. They were separated peacefully. Then it was Croatia. And then it was just a train effect. Then Bosnia declared independence, and that's where the problem started. Because
why was Bosnia a problem? Why the others got away? Slovenia was quite...
Well, it's very important to emphasize that Bosnia is not... It's difficult to say, but it has a very high percentage of Christians living in it.
Because the Bosnians didn't want to fight. I'm going to say it. The Bosnians didn't want to fight. So they're so easy target. Not all Bosnians. Honestly, we had maybe 20-30% that was already hardcore, good people. But the rest, they were brainwashed with Yugoslavia, Serboslavia, and communism. And that's the fucking 100% honest truth. They didn't want to prepare and fight. That's the fucking honest truth. People said to them, listen, they're going to come and fuck you. And they didn't listen. Even a guy, you know what a guy said? He said to a couple of people like this. Because he went to warn them. He said to them, listen, these guys are going to fuck you up. Because throughout the war with Croatia, Serbians have been moving troops, bro. In Bosnia already, they have been doing fucked up things, bro. So people already said, hey, listen, this guy's going to fucking turn on us tomorrow. But these guys were like, nah, bro, you crazy, fuck you, all of that shit, bro. We're gonna report you. You know what this guy said to them? He said, listen, just make sure you fucking are nice shaved, because when those guys come for you, they're gonna just make sure nothing cuts in the fucking, nothing gets stuck so it doesn't pull when they pull the knife. You understand what I mean? You understand? He said this to these guys. And what happened? I don't remember what happened, to be honest. I don't remember these guys, what happened with them. I think they got taken. But this guy who knew and told them, he didn't. He survived. It was him who told the story. So, I even have so many fucking people who prepared, bro. They went out, bought fucking weapons, said to other people, buy weapons, bro. And they were like, no, bro. And relatives called them crazy. But listen, when the shit hit the fan, the guys who got called crazy were the guys who were prepared. And they were the guys who fucking pushed the Serbians shit in, while the others were fucking begging for... Bro, I hate to fucking be fucked up against my own people. But let me just say, respect for the first freedom fighters and respect for the guys when the Serbians, when then they fucking fought to the last one, bro. Respect to those guys. I love those guys, bro. And respect to the fucking criminals, because they were the ones who defended it at the start. Respect to those guys for fucking going out and fucking doing their thing. Honestly.
About
45?
Yeah, about 45%, I'd say, 40% maybe now. So there's large groups of Christians, of Orthodox and Catholic. And Muslims are scattered in between as the majority, but you can't deny this large percentage. So through that, you have different...
And they're very concentrated, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And they would... And where the...
large percentage? What?
I'd say 40% maybe now. So there's large groups of Christians, of Orthodox and Catholic.
There's no large groups. We can register 5 million Bosnians in Turkey tomorrow. What is the numbers then? We can register 2 million outside of Bosnia, in Europe and America. What is the number? We got 6 million in a day. What are you guys talking about? What number, bro? You're forgetting your people outside. You're forgetting yourself. This guy has forgot himself in the number. There's no fucking 40% in Bosnia of Orthodox, and there's definitely no 25% Catholics. Those numbers are wrong, lies. Listen, let me tell you one thing about West Balkan. You can have 10 identities and nobody's gonna find out, because it's that kind of system. You can have 20 fucking identities, one in fucking every city, one passport in every fucking city, and you're gonna be fucking counted like 20 persons, even though you're one person. So this guy don't know what he's talking about. Bosnians are majority, pretty much 75% at least. If you count in the Bosnians, if they got the right tomorrow from Turkey to get the citizenship, 5 million tomorrow. If to give everybody else a right, 2 million from Europe and America tomorrow. So this guy don't know what he's talking about. Listen, don't fucking learn me about my fucking country, bro.
And Muslims are scattered in between as the majority, but you can't deny this large percentage. So through that, you have different...
And they're very concentrated, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And they would... And where the Serbs predominantly are in Bosnia today borders Serbia.
But that's only a result of after the war. Yeah. That's a result of ethnic cleansing. That's a result of them kind of cleansing the Bosniaks out and creating this. Yeah. So basically all those areas that you have now of the Serbs, which are basically on that border, it's called...
50-50, I gotta be honest, 50-50. So this 50-50, because it is also... The Bosnians are also to blame that are abroad, that don't go home and vote and make that shit stop. Because that's the problem. That's the real problem. They're not fucking listening to what the president said to them. The fucking OG president Aliyah. He said to them, go home, make sure you go home and vote. Fucking the fucking... It's not done yet. But these guys, they want to sit in Europe and sit everywhere and... Brother, they don't care, bro. And that's the problem. That's the real truth. Because the numbers can be changed like that tomorrow. It's this fast. 24 hours.
Republika Srpska, the Serbian Republic, that was never really just the Serbian region. You know, where my family's from, our village now is in that area. But we can't go there now. We can, but it's all gone. Everyone was killed. But that's in the Serbia.
You can go. Why not go? This is not true. You can go. Why not go? I hate this. This kind of mentality is a weak mentality. This is weak-ass mentality. This is the Italian part of him coming in there. Because the Bosnian part of me, I would be in the fucking faces 24/7. What they gonna do, brother? I'm gonna bring the whole fucking crew. Everybody I know, we're gonna go there. What they gonna fucking do? I'm gonna go, Habibi, what you gonna do? This is that easy. Nobody fucking gonna say to me, I cannot come to my fucking home, bro. My fucking brother, if this guy need help, call, bro. We go together. I bring my friends, no problem, bro. But this weak mentality, oh, I cannot go home. Oh, buy a gun. You have the right in Bosnia to have a gun. Buy a gun, bro. If you're afraid, like, buy a gun. What's the problem? I don't like weak mentality. I cannot go. Yes, you can. You will not because you're lazy. Fuck. That's why.
In region, for example. So these places were ethnically cleansed, and it was never as ethnically homogeneous.
And you and your family are keeping it ethnically cleansed. You could go tomorrow, make your house again, put your address there, register for voting, and if everybody do that, you can vote off every single Serb. Like this. Like this. Like how? Like this. But what do? It is, honestly, I could never get myself to say I cannot go to my own home. Brother, I would not allow them to go to their home if I cannot go to my own home. What are you talking about, bro?
As it is now, where you have Muslims in the federation and blah blah blah. But yeah, so you always had Christians there. You had Croats and Serbs, quote unquote.
No, we didn't always have Christians there. Christians were brought to Bosnia. There was no natural Orthodox or no natural Catholics. Show me the proof. You cannot show me. You can show me old holy places, but they can be anybody's holy places. They can be from the Byzantine Empire, Roman Empire, whatever empire. That's not theirs. Just because fucking holy place is there, that doesn't mean it's theirs. Forget about it. The fucking Serbians think they can take all Byzantine architecture and call it theirs. Nah, bro, that's not how history functions. Maybe in your world, but not in the real world. So, no. Catholics were brought by the Sultan, and more than majority of them got brought by the Austro-Hungarians, and the Serbs were brought by some of them were Vla, and got brought by the Sultan, and some of them got brought by Yugoslavia, Balkan was. They were not natural native from there. And you can go in records and check. This is not something I'm making up. All of this is records, factual, 100%. So yeah. And we're also forgetting one very, very important thing that everybody is skipping. We are forgetting to include the plague. The plague was rampant. Was it 18th century, 19th century? What was it? I don't remember exactly. But a lot of people died. When you look at the numbers, you can also see that is why there's not left so many Christians in Balkan. So where did the Christians come from? They came from outside. Got brought from different places where they probably lived like slaves and got told, listen, you're going to go there and wait, and got trained in the settlements of Moldavia, probably was on other fronts, and got sent to Hungary, not to the Austro-Hungarian settlements, the Habsburg settlements of Orthodox, and pretty much got trained up and blah 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 and sent in. After that, rewarded with lands and stolen goods and stolen land. And so no, they're not native, because if you're native, you don't need to steal. That's so easy. The whole fucking thing crumbles because why would you need to steal if it's yours? If something is mine and I have lived here, I have a big piece of land, I don't need to steal because I am native. But if I'm not native, I need to steal because everybody already owned their land. And that is where we see agricultural reforms throughout the last 200 years against the Bosnians and Muslims. And yeah, Christian Church, Orthodox and Catholic is not native to Bosnia, Sanjak, even Croatia and what do you want to call Croatia, Serbia and Montenegro. To be 100%.
Because native Bosnians don't really view them as necessarily Serb and Croats. We view them as Bosnian Catholics or Bosnian Orthodox Christians, because that's what they...
No. We do not. If a person want to be Bosnian and Orthodox, okay. If you want to be Catholic, okay. If you want to be Jew, okay. If you want to be atheist, okay. But as soon as you put Serbian or Croatian and then your religion, you are no longer Bosnian. With that identity comes a lot of other things, and you automatically accept that. That's how it is. If you want to call yourself something foolish, you accept the foolish things coming with it. And that's how it is.
Well, until the 19th century, where you had national...
Because I will not spit on the heroic Christian Bosnians who fought for Bosnia and didn't betray its people and its land for no fucking foreign interest, put them in fucking same as a fucking person calling himself Serb, who probably is Serb because he was probably not native to that land, and that's what he's not related to that land. His grandfather probably got granted that land fucking for killing and fucking plundering. So it's not the same. Definitely not the same. It will never be the same. You can lie to yourself, but never will it be the same. A Bosnian Christian is a Bosnian Christian, and he should be honored as a Bosnian. And a Bosnian and a Serbian terrorist, he should just be called out for being a Serbian terrorist inside Bosnia. What the fuck are you calling yourself in my land? Get the fuck out of here if you have a problem. And the same as Croats, if you have a problem, get the fuck out of here, bro. You're not native here, from here. Show documentation. Where are your graves? Where are your 500 years of generational graves? Where are they?
These movements coming from Serbia, kind of taking them on and saying, you guys are actually part of the Serb nation. You need to, this is just natural how nationalism works.
Majority of them embrace that, though, right?
Yeah, of course they did. That's why they have the problems nowadays. They,
as did the Croats.
Yeah, they did as well, which was it's a topic not really talked about a lot.
So if anyone betrayed their land, their motherland, or whatever you want to call it, was them.
In a way, we can say that. Yeah. Okay. So they essentially, because looking at the history.
Yes and no. They are not factoring that these people are not native to West Balkan. Bro, please do your fucking history research. These people are not native. They got brought from fucking outside. I have not yet done a fucking 1,000,000% study where they were brought from, but they were fucking brought from outside. The fucking record shows it. The Black Plague. There was not so many people, bro. It wasn't like fucking 2 million here, 5 million there, 3 million here. Like, the world didn't work like that then.
The native people of Bosnia are called Bosniaks. But Bosniaks have never just been Muslims. Bosniaks existed before Islam came.
Spot on.
And they were Catholics as well as Orthodox. So that's how we, like most Muslim Bosnians, viewed that as the situation.
There was no Catholics, there was no Orthodox. Orthodox layer came in the 13th century and was only an outpost, nothing fucking like, oh, we're gonna now take over the whole shit. That didn't happen. And Orthodox came much later, so much later, bro. It's not even close to each other.
I like to say that they're Serbs.
Bosniak Catholic, Bosniak Orthodox, Bosniak Muslim.
Of course, we have to respect how they identify. We can't, just like they can't deny us of our right, we can't deny them of their right. They have a right to identify how they are. And
of course I can, man. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm gonna say it how it is. I ain't gonna fucking lie to myself for fucking nobody. Those guys were fucking migrated. They got fucking brought. 90% of them got brought into Bosnia. Look at the fucking raw data. Just look at the data before the plague, after the plague. And just look at who brought who in, from where. Who got brought in after First World War, after Second World War? Why all the administration positions were filled with Serbs from outside of Bosnia who went inside to Bosnia? Like, bro, my fucking people don't know these people. Honestly, I'm telling you, my people know everybody. My people don't know these people. These people are not from here. I'm 100.
fact is that the majority now identify as Serbs or Croats.
Yes, that's exactly.
And it's unchangeable at this point.
And that's in Bosnia they identify. In Bosnia they identify as Serb and Croat.
Because I think now with the population of Bosnia on social media and tourism, that people think Bosnia is like a Muslim country, but only to the areas you're going it's Muslim. When in reality, if you go to different areas, it will be like majority Catholic, or will be majority Orthodox, or see, unfortunately that's how it is.
Or one part of a town would be one thing and another part nothing.
That's not unfortunate. This is because Bosnians like this guy don't check their job serious and go and fucking rebuild their fucking territories, their fucking grandfather's land, their fucking great-great-grandfather's land. They are not going back and rebuilding. They are letting fucking idiots fucking control their emotions, bro. I swear. Sometimes I think people are like me, but people are not like me. Honestly, people are not like me.
Mostar,
that's where my family are from. We're from the Herzegovina region. Mostar is completely divided. It's a beautiful city, but it's completely divided. It's half the city is Croatian, half is Muslim, and they had fist fighting between them, and it's I really don't like it. This division in Mostar, like, it's such a beautiful city, but it's such a.
What fucking kind of Muslim are you? Wow, bro, he make me say this. Me, I am too much honest. Bro, let me say one thing. Whoever see this, if anybody see this, I don't know. But never be this weak. Never have such a weak mentality. Never be afraid for a fist fight. Why the fuck are you afraid? How fucking bubblegum life did you have to not be in a fist fight and be scared? Well, I love fist fights, bro. Fist fights are the fucking funniest, bro. Fucking street fights, there's nothing better, bro. The adrenaline, the fucking kick, bro, you feel alive, bro. You feel young, bro. Bro, don't get me started, bro. It's doing fucking shit you're not allowed to do. Adrenaline. Boo, boo, boo. But, you never have an excuse to not rebuild your grandfathers and people before you who have been through wars and rebuilt, and you're giving yourself the privilege of, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. For me, I'm not saying everybody have their own struggle in life, but for me, I would not be able to go to the next world with knowing I was afraid for anything. Like, of course you're afraid sometimes, yeah, sure, bro, but if it really was gonna be it, fuck it, bro. It's just gonna be like that.
Shame how divided it is, because you go on the Croatian side, they have all their Croatian flags, they have all their kind of celebrating their own war.
And why the fuck don't you get your local people together, your cousins, fucking train a little and pull that shit down? Fucking make sure you got back up, and whatever they're prepared to do, make sure you got 10 times back for them if they try. But that is the mentality people need to have.
Or kind of paramilitary group that they had, which fought against us, which put us in concentration camps and whatnot. And it's very, very, very divided and very nationalist. And unfortunately, this nationalism is, I don't know what the future holds for this region with this nationalism. Really, it's just a question of time of what's going to happen.
Be 10 times more national. What is the problem? What do you want? What does this guy want? Milk and cookie? I don't understand. This guy want milk and cookie. I don't understand. This guy is breeding. There's people who are not breeding, who would love to get the chance to fucking be able to rip those flags down. I don't know.
It's a ticking time bomb, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not functional politically. If we talk about politically how the country functions, and
brother, it is functional. We're dominating everybody in Bosnia. That is how it's supposed to be. The Serbians think they're clever, but we like tick tick and shoot and golazo. And the Croats they think like they're smart, but we make tick 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 golazo. And every time we turn everything around, and bro, that's how gonna be. The whole fucking world is against us. We don't give a fuck, bro. Smile and spit in their face. What the fuck, bro?
The aspirations of different, Serb politicians in Bosnia or Croat politicians in Bosnia, the way it works is just completely dysfunctional.
Can Bosniak Muslims really trust?
Well, that's the
Bosniak.
It's different.
Can Bosniak Muslims really trust
Well, that's the
Bosniak?
It's difficult because
Can the Bosnians really trust the Bosniaks? Bro, I gotta be honest, I wouldn't trust this guy. This guy right here, I wouldn't trust him. Bro, I wouldn't trust him to give me the water if it started shooting the Serbs or Croats, bro. This guy will fucking sit and fucking curled up and cry. He looks like that.
Catholics and Bosniak Orthodox.
Well, in Bosnia, the way it works is just completely dysfunctional.
Can Bosniak Muslims really trust
Well, that's the
Bosniak?
It's difficult because
Catholics and Bosniak Orthodox.
Yeah, 100% I trust. I swear, 100% I trust Bosnian Christians as long as they're Bosnian and identify as Bosnian. And they give every fucking single drop of their blood for Bosnia. A centimeter they give their blood for it. Then they're Bosnian, bro. There's nothing to come after. But if they're fighting for different people, and actually they are different people, then bro, go to your people. You ain't gonna get this.
it's difficult. Like I said, you have half the country which is part of the Serbian Republic, which have their own police, they have their own judicial system, they have their own essentially
It's a de facto.
laws.
It's a
And
de facto.
it's a separate.
They don't have shit, bro. They don't have shit. They don't have shit. They can suck dick. They gotta do whatever the national law says. If they don't do, they can suck a dick. That's what's happening. They can suck a dick, you know. And what's you afraid of, bro? There's so many Bosnians living there and fucking giving the Serbians the middle finger. They can't do shit, bro. And this guy is fucking scared, bro. He's in his best age and he's scared.
Entity, which now is very interesting. Now is very much aligning with Israel, with Trump lobbying groups. You know, you had recently the president of it.
Wait. When was it? When wasn't it? Like when? Like Milosevic. Where did Milosevic worked at fucking Wall Street, bro. He's a Wall Street guy. He fucking, bro. These guys don't know, bro. Listen. Serbians got at least 1 million, if not 3 in America. Chicago, they got full control over that shit, bro. They have infiltrated America so fucking hard. America don't even know it because they're white, bro. They look white. These guys don't know shit, bro. They've been lobbying a lot of years, and it's not only these couple of years. We are going back, bro. Since World War I, World War II, Yugoslavia, blah, 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 blah.
Srpska, she went to meet Netanyahu in Jerusalem. She's one of the presidents of Bosnia. There was not even a Bosnian flag present behind them. You know, when you do official...
She's not one of the presidents of Bosnia. She's the president of I don't give a shit. So that's it. She's no president, though. She's a McDonald's worker in my eyes. I don't understand who is this girl. I don't understand. What is she doing?
You have the flag Israel, you have the flag whatever it is. The only flag that they displayed was their Serbian Republic flag, which just tells you kind of their real true motive.
Listen, let me be honest. The problem is Bosnian accepting that. The problem is communist Bosnians, because they have this problem in the brain about unity, friendship, blah, 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 blah. While us younger generation, we're just gonna throw everything out when we get the power. I swear, brother, we're gonna throw everybody out. If they got problem, out. You have problem, out. What's your problem? Out. It's gonna be that easy.
Of these politicians. Of course, we're not speaking.
What they gonna do? Send the army. Ha 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 ha.
About people, we're speaking more about.
Good joke.
The politics on an actual ground level, it's different.
But let's just be honest.
Which is important to differentiate.
Yeah, okay, fine. But let's just be honest, bro. I mean, one of the elephants in the room in the situation, the quagmire in which the Muslims of Bosnia find themselves in, is that can we actually trust those who ultimately genocided us?
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust the?
Bro, is this guy talking to us, bro? Is this guy talking? Listen, bro. Find out the quagmire between you Arabs and all around Asia and all. Brother, you're living beside Muslim countries. You cannot figure it out. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Brother, we got this shit on the luck. We don't trust nobody. We don't trust you guys either. We don't trust nobody, bro. We don't even trust our own fathers, bro. That's how it is. So, we are prepared. But you guys, You guys need to get your houses in order. Honestly, the Muslim world is, it's to laugh off, bro. What is that to see? What is that to see, brother? You have not seen wars. Okay, some countries has, but a lot hasn't. It's filthy, uneducated, like, honestly. But we in the center of Europe, we fucking holding down, educating, we are fucking crying less, but, bruh, trust me, we got this shit on the luck.
Descendants of those who genocided us.
Of course you can't.
Unlike the other countries.
And trust me, it's not gonna be guys like this guy, your friend in the studio. This not gonna be the guy. It's not the one. Trust me, we got the ones. Phew, we got more than once. Supermans, but don't worry, bro. Everything is in the luck, and nobody fucking trusts the Serb, bro. What the fuck? I trust the Bosnian Christian, but I don't know Serb and Croat. What the fuck would I trust them, bro? I know what they do. They're terrorists. They fucking even been at the fucking suit and got convicted for genocide. Why the fuck would I trust them? Is this guy weird?
Real true motivations of these politicians. Of course, we're not speaking here about people. We're speaking more about the politics. On an actual ground level, it's different.
But let's just be honest.
Which is important to differentiate.
Yeah, okay, fine, but
what the fuck is this guy talking about on the ground level is different? How is the ground level different? Excuse me, how is it different than the ground? The ground level is not different. Ground level is not different. No. Of course, we have some Bosnians who are communists who go and mingle with them, but what can you do? They have not become smarter, but that's their problem, that's their head, not mine. Me, they ain't gonna get me.
let's just be honest, bro. I mean, one of the elephants in the room in the situation, the quagmire in which the Muslims of Bosnia find themselves in, is that can we actually trust those who ultimately genocided us?
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust the descendants
What is this about trust? No, we don't need to trust. We have a weapons manufacturing industry now. We have a production of arms. We have a production of ammunition. We're actually producing ammunition to the UN and other countries because we are producing so good, so stable, so many different variants. Brother, we got drone technology coming. We actually have it, but we are working on more and more and more. We got, brother, how much you want, brother? We got all kinds of firearms. We got RPGs. We got, brother, what trust? We don't need trust. We don't build in trust. This is not the 90s anymore. There's nothing to be trustful of. The new generation, the last generation was a little patriotic. The new generation, brother, they don't know what the word patriotic means. They only know what the motherland means.
Those who genocided us.
Of course you can't.
Unlike the other countries where there was a religious majority demographical makeup, so
Yeah.
it's easier to break away. One of the reasons why Bosnia was not that was because of how diverse it was.
Yeah,
Because
how
the large,
mixed it was.
exactly.
Bosnia is not diverse. We just have a migrant problem that we need to solve. Some migrants who became too uncivilized. So, yeah, we just gotta fix that. And after that, everything good. We close the border. We said to everybody goodbye. The rest of the world goodbye. You for yourself, us for ourselves. We don't need you. You don't need us. And that's it. We're gonna do some North Korea shit, honestly. We're gonna do some North Korea shit. We're gonna close all the borders and we're gonna just do us, bro. Because we have paradise. And the only problem is the Croats, Serbs, West, even East are holding us back. But if we just throw everybody out, bro, and just close everybody, the border, we're gonna have a tip top, bro. Tip top. It's gonna be paradise. And you guys, you can come and visit. You can come and
Now you're in a situation where, quite frankly, you just don't know where people's loyalties are. And actually, you can make a good estimated guess because certain days are celebrated, certain dates are celebrated, certain things are commemorated in huge numbers, very publicly, by both.
Okay, ooh, shock. Thanksgiving in America, where they killed the fucking people who brought them food, is celebrated. You have weird celebrations all over. You have celebrations in what the Zionists are doing in Palestine. We have the problem is the Bosnians who are tolerating this, and the Bosnians who don't go back and rebuild.
Croats and Serbs. Yeah. So naturally, it's a very, very, very scary situation to be in.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's stable. I would say you're living amongst people who perpetrated these things against your family. You're living amongst them. You know, if I give the example of Mostar, you'll be living in the same. You know, it was your neighbor who did these things, and they still.
I am not. I am definitely not. Let me say one thing. If anybody from my area did something, brother, we don't need the police. We don't need law. We solve that shit. You know, that is how it's supposed to be. Why would you accept it and just wait? And that's your fault. That's your fault. That's your fault. Allah, you have rules you go after, and then fucking go after the rules, bro. Why would you accept different rules? So, if you want revenge, take your revenge. What can I say? I cannot say don't take revenge. It's not allowed. You have to follow laws and go the legal way and get you a lawyer and go through the suits.
Still live there. These war criminals are still living out there, and it's very much you're living beside the people who wanted to exterminate you just 30 years ago. So it's there's a very deep distrust within society.
Why not do the same?
There, in terms of these different regions and whatnot. So it's definitely a sensitive topic. Even now, you look on the news.
Listen, I don't know. I understand. If this guy, he's like, I don't know, is he Sufi? What is he? I don't know. But why would you not just go back and spit in their faces? If they're trying to expel you, why you not expel them? I don't know. I don't understand.
You turn on the news in Bosnian, the main thing they talk about is all these topics about war, about Serb politicians, separatists, Croatian politicians, separatists. This is all that's being talked about pretty much. So it's
what?
Yeah,
of course. Listen, when a dog barks but don't bites, it's because it don't got anything else than barking. Bark. That's what they're doing. They're barking. Bark, Serbians and Croats. Bark. Because they don't have anything else. Listen, our president, he had said to them, let's go to war. They said no. He said, let's go to war. They said no. And then he asked them why. He said, let's just do it diplomatically. Like, let's just talk. Because they know, bro, they're gonna get the shit pushed in, bro. People are fucking armed to the teeth, bro. You can get fucking whatever you want down there. Just go to the fucking gun range, register yourself. You can fucking buy whatever you want, bro. Everything is open, bro. You just gotta follow the rules. Gun safes and everything. And bro, who's gonna come into Bosnia now, bro? This is not the fucking 90s, bro. These guys are just lucky that our parents are fucking so nice. But trust me, the next generation, ooh, we didn't fucking get time to play on the Game Boy, bitches, because of you. No Nintendo, no PlayStation 1 for us, Nintendo. That's funny, man. We didn't get the fucking PlayStation because of you sons of bitches. We're gonna come for
parts of the world that should be watched carefully, especially over the next 30, 40 years, whatever, because we don't know how it will play out, really.
During the Bosnia War, there was obviously an arms embargo. There was the longest siege in modern history, the siege of Sarajevo. But looking back at that tumultuous period, which brother nations do Bosniaks look back at fondly as those who helped them?
Only Iran. Only Iran. We only love Iran. Irani. Very good people. I don't know Pakistan. Pakistan, I gotta research them because maybe they help, maybe they don't help. Pakistan, Iran. Number one, Iran. Iran. Number one. Everybody else, Saudi. You guys are funny. You guys are very funny. Funny guys. Turkey are also funny guys. Very funny guys.
During that very difficult period.
There's a few nations which helped us a lot. Some of them are Pakistan, Iran, Malaysia, as well as Arab states, So these are kind of the main nations that say mainly.
What Arab states help you? What fucking Arab states help you? Sending fucking spies with the Brits who are fucking disguised as fucking mujahideens, is that help? What help? What? The fucking flour they sent, you cannot cook because you don't have wood, you don't have fucking water, you don't have nothing. What exactly, tell me? Because I don't understand what they help.
Iran and Malaysia really, they were smuggled weapons in. They really did actually help the situation. And then you had foreign fighters coming in. Really and truly.
Did Pakistan also breach the embargo?
Yeah.
These foreign fighters, listen, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them, bullshit guys. Bullshit guys. Bro, some of them fucking went out and fucking took girls from fucking 15 and 14 and took the... Bro, don't get me started. Some of the shit, some of them died. Listen, I'm not saying all of them. Some of them came with pure hearts, but majority of them were spies. Spies. Worked for fucking M16, MI6, or whatever they called, CIA, other fucking intelligence services. Listen, you gotta understand one thing. All these guys who get sent to different fronts for fucking fighting, those guys work for fucking secret agencies. And don't fucking start telling me no, because all those guys fucking afterwards got fucking exposed for it. So fucking don't say no. So... the foreign fighters, we don't need foreign fighters. We had fighters enough. We need weapons and arms at that time. So all the foreign fighters shit, forget about it. Our fucking people were more schooled than their fucking foreign fighters, bro. Don't get me fucking started, bro. Our people needed to go to the military at least a year. And after the year, you can fucking specialize. Don't get me fucking started, bro. Don't insult us. We know where the fucking foreign fighters came from. We know who they work for. We know who they paid the salaries. I ain't saying all of them. I can't say all of them. I have not checked all of them, but the majority of them, some of them, maybe they were good guys, good fighters, all of that, but a large part of them were agents and sent as agents. Nothing else. The foreign fighters shit. We had fighters, bro. What do you need more fighters for if you don't have weapons and arms? What you gonna do? Fight with your dick in your hand? What you gonna do? What do you need fighters for if you can't fucking arm them with nothing? So fucking stupid, man.
I believe they did. Pakistan did that as well. Okay. So yeah, it's interesting because...
How were the Arab Mujahideen taken? How they...
Listen, let me be honest. The only one accepted as help is Iran. Iran, bro, I kissed the hand. Bro, those guys went above. Not just above, they went above, bro. They went beyond and above for the Bosnians.
Seen today.
Yeah, so this is another thing. So there was a presence of Mujahideen, but it wasn't as big as people think. It wasn't as widespread. It was very much, again, one of these media things taken at the time that, there's a few Arabs here, so let's Serb
100 maybe.
Western European media are going to blow it up, say there's a kind of this extremist Arab takeover of parts of Europe, which wasn't really the case. But they were there. They fought. They were some of the fiercest fighters in the war. Very strong battalion. Some of the fiercest.
No, they were not. What are you talking about? Let me tell you what the majority of those guys did. They were. Those guys were trained in reconnaissance. Majority of them were trained in reconnaissance, and the reason they were sent was because Bosnia was working together with the Shiites. But Bosnia is Sunni, and that confused the British and Americans. They didn't know what do we do. So they sent some guys. But forget that. The only thing, the majority of the thing they did, they were very good reconnaissance. Spies. So they went out, sat, waited, looked, sat, waited, looked. They made some okay plans. I don't know. I heard from some guys, first mouth, that they were good at making those plans. But it was some spy shit, nothing else. There wasn't anything else. Listen, Saudi, bro, we know fucking who the fuck Saudi works for, bro. Don't get me started, bro. Portuguese, French. Don't get me started on the whole lineage of everybody down there, bro. Don't get me started, bro.
Battles were through them. And a lot of them were martyred in Bosnia. A lot of them are buried there. And some of them still live there to this day. Some of them have made lives there. A lot of them went on to then go fight in different...
Can you say CIA? Here we are again.
periods of let's say, jihad. Some of them went to Chechnya.
Let me just say one thing. Inside the Muslim world, bro, there's so many spies. Bro, you when you throw something, you're gonna hit at least 3. 100%. Trust me, bro. I've made so much. Sometimes I made fun. Sometimes I make fun with people. I'd say to them, bro, I know you fucking get the call, because I know some things, Bruh. Sometimes they admit they got the call, bruh. I fucking die laughing, bruh. They don't know they're fucking in. Bruh, so many fucking people are spies. Don't trust no fucking body.
Afghanistan and whatnot. And a lot of the detainees in Guantanamo Bay, for example, they have a history of first being in Afghanistan, then being in Bosnia, then being in Chechnya, and so on.
Sure.
So a lot of these Arab foreign fighters who came are a victim of this kind of American anti-terrorism profiling and whatnot.
But how do Bosniaks see them?
What are you talking about? All of them worked for America as a spy. They were all they had handlers. All of them had handlers, bro. Bro, how the fuck do you get into a war zone that's... Listen, there was a power struggle between the Shia and Sunni thing. And that is where the Mujahideen came into the picture, to destabilize and try to pull the Bosnians towards the Sunnis, But the Bosnians didn't fall for their tricks, Bro, already when the fucking just heard they were gonna bring in these Saudis and... Bro, people already knew what was gonna happen, and what was happening, because... One thing people are forgetting, the Bosnians have a lot of friends. Maybe they cannot be officially a friend, but behind the doors, we're cute, bro. We're cute. We get answers.
They don't really think about it a lot. I don't think it's something that's at the forefront. It's not as big of a thing as people think. They generally don't really think a lot of it. I mean, you have Bosnian society is very kind of split. You have very just regular people, you have very religious people, just like any society. Majority being less religious, more secular. But definitely the more religious people view them with a strong kind of affinity. With that being said, though, I wouldn't say their contribution was as large as the actual contribution of Bosnians themselves.
Sure.
So within Bosnia, there's a deep respect for those who fought for the country.
In the whole brigade of Mujahideen, it was majority only Bosnians. There wasn't so many foreign fighters. There was a couple, bro. It wasn't, and pretty much they did reconnaissance, nothing else. Maybe they joined a little, but some of them were maybe good guys, but a lot of them were just spies and used and sent into some places they shouldn't maybe have been. I don't know, maybe should have been, maybe should have, but whatever. Saudi should not send troops, it should send, they know what they should send, but they sent what America and CIA told them.
The majority of them being Bosnians. There wasn't really that much help as people think. But yeah, of course, anyone who contributed, who helped, will be viewed positively. And yeah.
Would you say the non-Bosniak Mujahideen had an influence in how religion took place
I'd say that's their main...
Wait, that's actually a connection I just thought of, because the CIA operative, he fled Bosnia because he thought the Iranians were gonna get his ass, because the Bosnian guy he fucking introduced, he made the fucking thing with the Iranians and him, and they're gonna shake him, and then he fled. The CIA operative sent from US. Then, if the Mujahideens get sent in later, then the connection would be maybe they tried to get in connection with the Bosnian regime and infiltrate that, because the CIA had to flee. I gotta investigate that theory.
Their main the main fruits they left, let's say, was the way in which Islam was almost revived, because through them and then through different Arab,
What? Bro, this guy made me fucking stutter, bro. What?
Yeah, took place in.
I'd say that's their main the main fruits they left, let's say, was the way in which Islam was almost revived.
Islam is not revived. of anybody. Listen, Islam was underground, even under communism, Islam was thriving. No fucking Saudi came and revived shit, bruh. The Saudis just put a fucking another layer and fucking brainwashed our kids and fucking tried to make them the fucking agents and fucking I don't even know what to call them. Send them to fucking different American fucking battlefields undercover of fucking all kinds of shit, bruh. What the fuck are you talking about, bruh? What the fucking Saudis bullshit, bro.
Because through them and then through different Arab, Dawah organizations coming who were very much, it was a different form of Islam than the kind of Ottoman Hanafi Islam.
Yeah, but that was more Salafi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What Hanafi Islam? Brother, in Bosnia we don't even know. People don't even know what the Hanafi, Salafi, Hanbali, they don't even know that. They know the Quran, they know maybe a couple, they know how to pray, they know the Quran, and maybe they know a couple of these. They don't need anymore. As long as they know Quran, that's it.
Very much strong Salafi movements coming to Bosnia, and they definitely did help spread Islam more. They helped educate the people. They helped build masajids, fund.
How do they help people exactly? Tell me. How? Where's all the money that got collected if they help so much? Don't get me started on the money. Listen, Saudi didn't help shit. Saudi, the only thing they did, they started a new fucking network for fucking CIA inside Bosnia with the layer of Islam or Muslim or whatever, because it's bullshit. Saudi, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck do you want? What do you want? You didn't help with weapons. You sent fucking agents. What do you want? You didn't do shit. But the Shiites and Iran did shit. And that's what it's all about. Trust me.
Masajid. And yeah, I'd say now there's a strong presence of
and probably the CIA.
Kind of this more conservative Islam in Bosnia. And they can definitely be credited with helping kind of implement more of a traditional Orthodox form of Islam in Bosnia that wasn't necessarily there before due to that.
What Orthodox? Brother, they're drinking camel piss. What the fuck they're gonna learn me? Get the fuck out of here.
Nature of how Yugoslavia was.
When the war began, would you say the Bosniak resistance was essentially a nationalist movement?
A people who never in their life fucking produced anything are gonna come and learn us anything? Brother, this is a joke. Brother, how the fuck did your tongue not fucking turn around, bro? What are you talking about? These people who fucking living on oil money that they needed to kill their own Muslim brothers for to be able to fucking own, they're gonna learn us something? Brother, you're fucking crazy. Don't insult me, bro. This is not even an assault. This is too funny for me to even take to an assault, bro. They're gonna learn me.
That later became more religious, or was it the fact that the religious identity is absolutely intertwined with the national identity, and that is the very nature of Balkan politics?
That's exactly it. The latter. I think that your religion is very much tied to your national identity. For example, I don't think there's anywhere else in the world where this happens, but Muslim is like in the Balkans. That's your ethnicity. It's not just your religion. You say like, oh, he's Muslim. Like that's his ethnicity. When you say that, he's from here. So it's definitely very much intertwined with the national identity, and I think that's what was always present.
This is not true. It isn't allowed to have any other identity. For example, in Serbia, you cannot be Serbian Muslim. They have not allowed that to be, and also in Croatia, Macedonia. Also, they make the thing foreign. But so I don't know what this guy's talking about, honestly.
Yugoslavia, that people knew that they knew that they were Muslim, let's say, by their identity, not necessarily by their practice. So it was always kind of like an ethnic marker. For example, in the Yugoslav census, you would until one point you couldn't actually declare yourself as Bosniak. You would just tick Muslim. So for the ethnic kind of makeup. So it's always been intertwined there. Not necessarily we can say in the most like practical. Practicing manner, but it was always part of the spirit of the people. It was always there. They always knew who they were.
Sure. Bringing the podcast to a close, I will posit the following to you. Mm-hmm. We've heard never again after the Holocaust, but we had Srebrenica. We have other equivalent massacres and genocides in the same war that are not spoken about as much.
Which were larger, let's say.
Larger than Srebrenica.
As in a combination.
Of course. We had the Rohingya genocide, where we've just seen a 2.5-year genocide in Gaza before our eyes. There's a cultural genocide of the Uyghurs taking place. Lest we forget that 600,000 Syrians were killed by Bashar and his regime. But those are wars and genocides outside of Europe. If I were to bring it back to Europe, and based on everything that we've discussed, and based on the events that took place during the Bosnian War, and also the fact that the two world wars were ultimately European wars, led by European states fighting other Europeans, killing other Europeans, do you believe that it is beyond the scope of possibilities that Europe could commit another genocide?
I don't think it's beyond the scope of possibilities.
Is this guy fucking, is he serious? Is he serious? Honestly, brother, they're fucking facilitating a fucking genocide in Gaza right now. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking crazy? Brother, they're gonna fucking do a genocide in Europe. At least in 20 years, at least they're gonna be a genocide in the whole fucking Europe. Wait and see. As soon as the fucking population numbers get close, just a little close to fucking 30 to 40%, they're gonna do it. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Of course they are. But they're not gonna do it where they know they're gonna crush their teeth. And that's the fucking important part. The important part is one thing that the Muslims needs to learn from, as an example of America. Every fucking body have the right to arms. When you fucking get that shit in order, you're gonna have peace. As long as everybody's fucking walking around with their dick in their hand, somebody is gonna send some people to do their things. And that's the fucking hard truth. And that's how the fucking cuckoo crumbles. Oh, America.
I think, when we talk about this, we need to differentiate between the fact that when we talk about the Balkans, I think something will happen there again. But then you have immigrant populations of...
Listen. There's not gonna happen nothing in Balkan. Let me tell you one thing. Anything happen in Balkan, this is what's gonna happen. If Serbia starts to act out, Serbia's gonna get so fucking hot, fucked so hard. Brother, listen. We're gonna move in from Kosovo. We're gonna move in from Macedonia. We're gonna move in from Bosnia. We're gonna move in from Croatia. We're gonna move in from northern Serbia. We're gonna organize in Europe. We're gonna organize all around the world, bro. We're gonna come from so many. Listen, we can get to things. Listen, I got people and friends in criminal organized rings, bro. I can get to whatever I want, bro. If I need to get something to protect my people, bro, I'm gonna sit to him, bring this right here in this place, and it's gonna be there, and people are gonna help. Brother, nothing will happen in West Balkan. I'm telling you 100%. The Bosnians are too strong. The Albanians are ready. The Kosovar are ready. We are organized. It's not the same, bro. Plus, we have all kinds of things in Bosnia ready to go. So it's not gonna happen shit. If there happens anything, it's gonna be inside of Europe, 100%. It's not gonna be in Balkan. Balkan is who's gonna go? Who's going? Serbs, Psh. Croats, Psh. Western countries. Who? America, Canada, who? China, who? Who's gonna go into fucking Bosnia? Are you crazy, bro? People saw what happened in the 90s. Third largest army in the world down by fucking people that fucking came and fucking took their shit. But I'm gonna start, bro.
People who have built a life in these.
Bro, that's the funny thing, bro. Fuck that shit. I ain't gonna say shit.
Western European countries of the however many generations, who are also viewed as outsiders by these external right-wing factors, which bears similarities to how, even though the Bosnians were native, how they were treated by their neighbours. So I don't think it's out of the question. I think it's something that needs to be, as a Muslim in Western Europe especially, I think we should tread carefully over the next decade, 2 decades. We don't really know how it will play out, but I think you yourself can attest to this. That
we ain't gonna fucking tread fucking carefully. Why the fuck would I tread carefully in my fucking land, in my fucking country, in my fucking... This guy talking about tread carefully. Go you tread carefully. I ain't gonna tread carefully in my land. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking crazy? Is this guy fucking crazy? Are you fucking okay? Brother, are you fucking okay? Tread carefully. Suck in my dick, brother. I'm gonna tread how the fuck I want in my fucking land. And nobody's gonna do shit, brother. If you want to do shit, come to fucking the mountains. What the fuck just happened? Tread carefully.
It's not just going to be peace. There's something is brewing, whether it be against us or whatever. And I don't think it's, like you said, there's always this slogan, never again. Until it happens, you never thought it would happen to you. You know, if you do,
it's gonna be again and again and again and again and again. As long as people don't have the right to bear arms, it's gonna be again and again, 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 again. But in Bosnia, people have arms now. The clever people who are prepared, but the dumb people, they're gonna be acting dumb still. This guy don't even want to go home to fucking rebuild his house, bro. What the fuck do I gotta say anymore?
to our parents who lived that war, it was like impossible that they would ever think that their peaceful, beautiful life in Yugoslavia, prosperous life, would erupt like that, to the atrocities that happened, to the family they lost, to the things they went through, which is just
true. That's not true. People knew it. People said it before the war started. People said there's gonna be a war, 100%. People prepared. People bought their kids. People. Don't get me started, bro. Just because you're not inside the circle, that's not my problem, bro. You went to the Arabs. What can I do? CIA, good for you. CIA is happy. They ain't gonna play with us.
undescribable. You never think it will happen. It's like so far out of the realm of like you don't think it's possible. And similarly, we should think that we shouldn't think that it's impossible to happen, because it's possible.
When you read the type of propaganda which the Serbs,
it is impossible. I am saying to you, it is impossible. I would love it to happen, but I'm sorry. I have done very much investigation, and the capacity for the Serbs and Croats, it's very bad. Honestly, it's bad, bro. It's very bad. I ain't even gonna get into it, but it's bad. So the last thing those countries need is a war, and the last thing Bosnia could take 10 wars, bro. We don't need money, bro. We don't need shit, bro. We're gonna fix shit no matter what. But those guys, they need money, they need rakia, they need prostitutes, they need. It's too expensive for them, and people don't want to fight for them. And what they're gonna pay them with? Fucking socks. So there's not gonna. Unfortunately, there's not gonna be a war. Unfortunately, honestly, I would love it, bro. Get some fucking. It's not allowed to get revenge. Remember that. It's not allowed.
and the Croats normalized during the Bosnian War, and I'm sure again the similar tropes that you said about the Defshirme were used 150 years before that in the 19th and early 20th century. Yes.
Yeah.
When you see the rhetoric of the Zionist entity of Israel and how it dehumanizes our Palestinian brothers and sisters and Arabs in general, when you see the rhetoric used by Modi's Hindutva India in how it dehumanizes the Muslims of India and the Muslims of Kashmir, when you
how can this guy even fucking put the Palestinians in his mouth? Honestly, how the fuck all you Arabs not ashamed? How the fuck you not? We were surrounded by Christian countries. Okay, it was difficult. Iran helped us. We smuggled. We did that. What's your fucking excuse? You're fucking bothering it. You guys are fucking bothering it, and you're doing fucking nothing else but sitting with your dicks in your hand. Honestly, shame. Shame. Shame.
see when you see similar rhetoric used by the Buddhist military junta of Myanmar or the CCP in China, when you hear, could we cover it like in 5 pillars? We post videos and report on it and content. Do you see a similarity in the language and the rhetoric in how Muslims are dehumanized before something worse takes place?
Yeah, I think it always starts in the media.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck it. If the whole world, whatever the mean. But why are Muslims doing it to their own? That's the fucking question. That's the fucking real question. That is the fucking real question. Fuck what every other else people think. But what are you doing to yourself?
That's how it started there. That's how it's always, the media is such a powerful tool for rationalizing these things. For example, how we saw how the Zionist entity rationalizes these things, how it labels this and that. It's in the media. It's the way that they rationalize and dehumanize people, and we can see those patterns all around us. And yeah, like I said, it's
okay. Then say fuck Saudi. If you support fucking all of you, if you support Gaza, why the fuck are none of you guys saying fuck Saudi, fuck all the Arab countries? Why are you guys not? What? Because you're afraid not to come to Mecca? Okay, and what? And what? What is it? A pile of rocks? What? There's nothing special when there's nothing special it stands for. When the whole fucking thing it should be standing for it doesn't mean shit.
We shouldn't be naive. Like the Bosnians were naive back then. They didn't think it would happen to them, and it did. And we shouldn't be naive.
You are worse than the Bosnians. You are naive while you're looking at it.
The fact is that we're seeing...
At least the Bosnians have had the excuse. We didn't know. But the whole world right now, they're watching with their eyes and waiting for their turn. Trust me, brother, we are not the same.
The same rhetorics, if not on such a larger scale, just because at the point we are in society of how technology is, we're seeing at such a larger scale that we shouldn't. Like I said, we should be wary of it, and we should be definitely. We shouldn't place it too far at the back of our minds.
I've visited Bosnia once. I inshallah will visit again. Beautiful country, beautiful people, rich history, rich culture, very welcoming, very loving. But one of the things I noticed was something in the eyes of many of my brothers and sisters in Bosnia. Brothers.
What do you notice?
A sadness. A kind of... SubhanAllah,
there's no sadness. Why is that?
It was not cold, it was just a look which...
No, that is the look we're gonna kill you if you play around. That is normal look. That is because we are just identifying what is happening,
seemed like there was just...
That is normal. This is normal look.
Generational trauma.
Yeah, you can tell they've been through a lot.
They've been through a lot.
Yeah.
They don't, they're not so open when it comes to certain things. And it was loving hospitality. 11 out of 10 will treat you with izzah and honor. No two ways about it. But there was just something in the eyes of all the Muslims in Bosnia that there's a story behind how the sadness. I'm assuming they can only be...
Because you people are not... Brother, how would you not feel sad? The Bosnians have given so much for this ummah, and all of you are fucking ungrateful and cannot get even your fucking houses in order. That's the sadness. I'm gonna tell you guys, that's the sadness. That's the fucking sadness. That's the fucking sadness. People cannot get the fucking houses in order.
Generational trauma, because straight after the war, suicide increased in some parts of thingy. There was obviously many of our sisters gave birth of horrific industrial scale level of rape. So their sons and grandchildren will be Gen Z now, right? Or Gen Alpha. Do you also see the same, that there is a type of a generational trauma amongst Bosnian Muslims?
There's an avoidance of it as well. People don't want to.
Listen, I love my generational trauma. I gotta be honest, because that gives you fire, bro. Honestly, that's the fucking best fire ever, bro. Okay, not okay if your mother was raped, but then you go good. You're not allowed to get revenge. Remember that it's illegal, but you understand? That is what I would do.
But people don't like to talk about these
do it. What this I would do. Not do it.
Topics. It's maybe not something that people want to be thinking about. And I think more amongst the diaspora who fled.
Listen. Also, chill with the fucking rape shit. Not everybody got fucking raped. Okay, chill. This majority of the women didn't get raped. Unfortunately, a small, not small. I don't know, 50,000. But chill. It isn't like everybody fucking got raped. Okay, chill.
Grew up in other places. They talk about this more because they see the impacts that it's had on their parents or where they're from. But I think, like I said, it's kind of an avoidance that they don't really like to talk about these things. But I personally think it's very important to talk about these things, which is why I do, which is why I encourage other creators like the work Haris has done. He's done a great job on this to talk about this more. Because there's pain there, there's generational trauma, there's things that, like I said, we probably can't even discuss on this podcast that happened there just because of the scale of brutality. And most people live through that. It's the reality of it. But with that being said, the country's moved forward a lot. It's rebuilt. People are very kind of they're positive.
It's not rebuilt. The whole problem is guys like you not moving back and rebuilding. You don't even need to move back and live there full time, but you need to do your applications. You need to rebuild. You need to vote. You need to register. You need to register your father, your mother, your sister, your kids, everybody. Vote. Get the fucking political structure. Because our president said this. Alias said this to everybody. He said, the war is not done. Now it is the time to move back and get your houses in order and change things by voting. If you don't go back and vote, you ain't gonna change shit. The fucking man isn't a fucking magician. He's just a normal analytics. He did normal analytics, he came to that. And you people, the problem is the mentality of the Bosnians are too soft. Too soft. I don't know where this mentality came from, of softness, because my family tree, it's warriors, bro. I have fucking general leaders, bro. Like war leaders, bro. So I don't get where this softness came from. I gotta be honest. In my family, no softness, bro. If you're soft, you're gonna get ran over, bro.
A very resilient people. They hustle a lot. They truly are very pure-hearted people. And I think having gone through what they did has only made them stronger. It's only made them, it's made them stronger. And I think there's beauty in the struggle of which they rebuilt from. And I have optimism for all of.
There's no fucking beauty in this, bro. The only thing there is fucking retardation. People retardated and not fucking educating themselves about what is going on around them. That's the fucking sad part. There's nothing fucking beautiful, bro. What the fuck is the beautiful part, bro? People need to prepare and know what the fuck is coming for them and prepare for that. And if you as more prepared they are, as less would happen. Because wherever a Bosnian fought against a Serb, the Serb ran. Wherever a Bosnian fought against the Croat ran. And that's pretty much it.
All Bosnians around the world, whether it be the diaspora or what's going on now. And I don't know when this will be released, but our performance in the World Cup is...
Don't get me started on diaspora. The diaspora.
Very, very kind of uniting us and very proud of us. We're very proud of that. It's like it's a big moment for us just because based on all this history and whatnot, having this moment is like, it means the world to us.
May Allah bless and preserve the Muslims of Bosnia, man. It's one of some that, gone through a lot. They did a lot for the deen as well. Lest we forget, they played a crucial role during the Ottoman period. They held their deen. They could have given up on their deen.
What Ottoman period? After the Ottoman period, 200 volunteers direct from Bosnia to go to Gaza and fight with Albanians also. I don't remember how many Albanians. The whole fucking resistance movement is fucking ran by us and our people at that time, pretty much. So, what's this guy talking about, bro? Our people have been everywhere, bro. Everywhere. And we ain't fucking backing down from a fight. We love a good fight. We don't like a cowardly fight, but we love a good fight.
But they've held it down, man, and Allah accept all the deceased as shuhada. I mean, my final question to you to wrap up. You are a content creator. You've got your...
I only beg for Allah never sees me weak, bro. Never sees me weak.
Or growing Instagram channel and the content that you produce there. A lot of which I love sharing and consuming. Would you describe yourself as an introvert?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you balance being an introvert, but also being a content creator, probably at some point sooner or...
I don't understand. What is the introvert? Is this the guy, inside guy? The chill guy, the nerdy guy, huh? I don't understand introvert.
Probably later you're going to start getting invited onto podcasts and platforms and naturally...
Like, it's so broad, bro. It could mean so many things. Like, when you say introvert, it can be so... broad.
I'm hoping we make dua that your platforms grow. How do you balance yourself being an introvert and your platform growing?
Obviously, having a platform, you need to put yourself out there. There's that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I truly think that even if there's an internal resistance, I think pushing yourself to do things which make you uncomfortable is always going to yield a positive result, especially when it comes to the age we're in, this online age. Putting yourself out there, marketing yourself, displaying your skills, your interests, just building a personality online, even if it seems kind of against your nature, you think, I just want a quiet life, I don't really want this. I think there's hide in it, there's benefits in it, and it's difficult for me. Like I said, I have these thoughts, these internal thoughts sometimes. Like,
they can be good and they can be bad. If you're not informed enough and you're not educated enough, you can do more damage than you can do good. So the most important thing is when people speak about a topic, make sure it is analyzed to the fullest. Yani make sure everything. Make sure the different layers. Every bruh, how the fuck should I explain it? Make sure you fucking investigate things correctly. Totally to the fullest. Like,
do I really want to carry on growing this? Do I really want to do this? You know, it's uncomfortable. But with that being said, you know, discomfort is where the growth is, as cliche as it sounds. And putting yourself out there will always yield positive results, even if it's a bit hard at times.
So when I go back to South Africa, you're going to utilize this space then?
Yeah, inshallah.
You said that to me last time you did.
Yeah, time is a bit tight. Yeah, it's difficult to find the time to, you know, sit down, make a script, because I'm very kind of...
What the fuck is tight? I wasn't even going to make this fucking YouTube video, but I made it, bro. It isn't tight. Just fucking educate yourselves, then you can speak for fucking hours.
Detail oriented. If I'm going to write a script for a video that I want to film, it will take me a long time. I want it to be accurate. I want it to be reflective of my academic background and not just kind of, you know, superficial pop culture.
Bro, I'm sorry, but the academic background, I don't know who fucking taught you, but you should come and join this school, my school. 1 week, you will know how to investigate everything.
Slop, let's say.
Sure. Well, look, wrapping up from my part, bro, I just want to say that we're absolutely honoured to have you as part of the team.
Thank you.
It's been an honour working with you, and we're going to carry on working together. You always make my shifts easy. I always know that if Alan's on the shift, a lot of my headache's gone, alhamdulillah, so I want to definitely thank you for that. And as someone who is a follower and a fan of your Ottoman history content, I absolutely believe that you should carry on.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe that you will go on to do bigger and greater things,
Sure.
whether it's in the capacity of yourself or with Five Pillars. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I'm excited to see how you grow, both you and Horace.
Thank you.
And Robert, even though Robert's a bit older than you guys.
Yeah.
I think he's older by about 5, 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
But just seeing you guys grow and doing your own thing and actually learning from you as well.
Yeah.
You know that when I was out there in South Africa, I needed some help with some socials related stuff. I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And I always want to learn from the young guns. So I see you guys inspire me. So I advise back to you is that in your youth, whilst you're not a parent yet, utilize the time that you have, and inshallah you'll see the fruits of it later in this life and the next one. I mean,
Why? Is she gonna stick around at home and watch kids or what? Just because you get kids? What the fuck is youth? I can't even say it, bro. You live your time. What the fuck? Whatever he fucking said.
Likewise, it's a pleasure to work with the guys at Five Pillars, learn from, you know, all the experience.
Listen, man. A man always got time for work. That's how it is. That's why you have a woman. The woman take care of the kids. You do the fucking job, work. Yani. When you're done with your work, you got time for the family. When you're not done with your work, you don't got time. Bro, the family don't need you if you don't fucking not provide. Honestly, what the fuck you gonna do? Fucking sit around and look at them and fucking brush your hair?
You guys have in terms of pushing us, you know, you always push me and Harris to do our own platforms as well as Five Pillars work, and I think that's a very unique position we're in with the work that we do, the jobs that we have, and alhamdulillah, very grateful for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to drive this message home again. I don't mean to sound like a nasheed and repeat, but that is something I've always told you and Horace. I mean, I know Roshan tells Robert, but I tell you both that look, I wish when I was starting off in 2013 that I had a YouTube channel that had 250,000 subs, 200,000 on X, 600,000 on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So these are platforms as well, and you should see the platforms as your own. My whatever profile I have publicly as an individual grew with Five Pillars. Think about it, bro. 13 years ago, me and Roshan saw all those numbers at zero. Do you understand? To then see it where we're at now, where we're collectively, I think it's 1.37 million followers across the 5 platforms. Utilize it. You know, I've got gel on today. Usually my hair's very white. We're aging. We need you guys to take over, man. So I'm excited to see your progress, your development, and more content coming, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Brothers, sisters, and friends, that was our dear brother Alen Bašić, our social media manager, an absolute gem, keeping your du'as. Give him a follow at
Alen
Bašić. Get in contact with the Bosnian professors. Get in contact with Zukolic's son. Very, very good guy. He can probably teach you, or at least point you in the right directions. Or just find some academics, bro, from Bosnia, bro, and just ask them what books you should read, what information you should search for, because this guy is probably a good guy. I don't know, but misinformed, yes, definitely.
journalist.
Give him a big follow, give him feedback, consume his content, share it. But before you do that, make sure you subscribe to the 5 Pillars YouTube channel. Make sure you can find this episode on all 5 seasons on all the major audio platforms. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Very good. So, I don't know. This is probably a fucking long video, bro. 2 hours? Let's see. 3 hours. Bro, see you guys. 3.5 hours, bro. Wow.